Waiting for the jury, and why he didn't stand up, I do not know. Welcome back to the afternoon's broadcasting of the George Kelly, Arizona versus George Kelly murder trial. He's up for 2 counts, second-degree murder, excuse me. I'm going to have to pop on my own live and see if I can hear it.
And whenever you're ready, Ms. I can continue.
I want you to take a look at what's the mark as defense exhibit I.
Okay, the volume comes and goes. I'm doing the best I can.
And the interpreter did not hear the second part. Please take a look at defense exhibit I.
Yes. Can you see that on your screen?
Yes.
And we were talking earlier about those photographs that somebody showed you to see if you could identify the other person who you say was in this group with you. Are these those photographs?
Y estábamos hablando antes sobre unas fotos que le dieron a usted para ver si usted podía identificar a las otras personas que estaban en el grupo con usted. ¿Reconoce esta foto, señor? No.
You don't recognize being shown this photograph?
¿Usted no reconoce que le mostraron esta foto? Yes, it was shown to me.
Okay. And is that your signature on the photograph?
Es la firma de usted en la foto, señor.
And
Yes.
that's your statement saying, I don't recognize this person. Is that correct?
Y esta declaración abajo es algo que usted escribió donde usted puso no conozco a esta persona. Yes.
And then underneath that, I'm scrolling, there's another image of another person, right?
Y luego abajo de eso, y sí estoy bajando.
One thing that everybody needs to keep in mind is that
Yes.
And
this witness
your
has
signature is on there and you're stating that you don't recognize that person.
Y la misma cosa, ahí está su firma y una declaración.
had multiple interviews and discussions with police that have not been recorded or documented,
Yes.
other than they had
And
conversations.
then the next page, again, there's an image of a third person, right?
Y luego en la siguiente página otra vez hay una imagen de una tercera persona, ¿correcto? Yes.
And again, your signature and your statement that you don't recognize that person either.
Y otra vez su firma y una declaración que usted puso ahí.
Wonder who these persons are.
¿Correcto?
Is that a yes?
Quería decir sí, señor. I don't know that person, no.
Okay, and that is your signature and that is your statement saying that you don't recognize that person.
Y ahí está su firma.
Get in the chair
y ahí
appropriately.
está la declaración que usted puso diciendo que usted no conoce a esa persona y que tampoco la reconoce, ¿correcto? Correct.
And then there's a fourth image of another person. Same thing with that person, right?
Y luego hay una cuarta imagen de una cuarta persona y la misma cosa con esa imagen, ¿correcto? Correct.
And then there's a fifth person, same thing. Signature and your statement that you don't recognize that fifth person.
Y luego hay una quinta persona, misma cosa. Usted firmó y luego puso una declaración diciendo que no reconoce a la persona, ¿correcto? Yes.
There's a sixth person, same story with the sixth person, right?
Y
I wonder who
luego hay
these
una
people
sexta
are.
persona,
I wish I could
misma
see.
historia con esa sexta persona, ¿correcto? Correct.
And then there's a picture of 3 women, and same thing. You say you don't recognize them either with a signature there, correct?
Y luego hay una foto de 3 mujeres y la misma cosa, usted firmó y luego puso una declaración diciendo que no reconoce a estas personas, ¿correcto? Correct.
And then finally, there's the last page here with all 6 of the men together, is that right?
They must be pictures off of the phone of Gabriel, the victim. This is Daniel. Sorry about that, y'all.
And so when you say shown photos, are these the photos that you were shown to see if you could identify the other person who was with you?
This interpreter may have repetition on person or persons.
Now I don't remember. When you say you were shown photos by law enforcement to see if you could identify another person who was with you, are these those photos?
Entonces, cuando usted dice que le mostraron fotos para ver si usted podía identificar a una otra persona que estaba con usted, estas son las fotos a que se estaba refiriendo usted, señor. I don't understand.
These are the photos that the detective showed you to see if you could identify somebody. Is that right?
Estas son las fotos que el detective le mostró a usted para ver si usted podía identificar a alguien. ¿Correcto? Yes.
You moved to admit the exhibit I.
Wait a minute. I understand the evidentiary value of exhibit I in evidence.
The witness has laid a foundation. He's testified he looked at these photos and he could not identify the people who were in the photos.
That's only relevant if people are relevant.
Yes.
Otherwise, the record could be the equivalent of, he was just shown some random grouping of 9 people, he doesn't know anything, so what? Only if this is relevant to something, so what's the relevance? I don't know who these people are, I don't know who it is.
Well, and we're gonna lay foundation with that with other witnesses, but one of the other people is a person who this witness testified was a member of this group and was with them.
In that case, the objection's over. Any other objection?
They're gonna lay foundation with another witness, and so can we just withhold ruling until we have another witness to lay any additional foundation?
And Judge, we laid the foundation with this witness. This witness testified that he was told someone by the name of Ramon was in this group of people, and he said, yes, I remember that person was with us. Ramon is in these photographs, and the witness.
Objection's overruled. I mean, objection's overruled. Is this marked as an exhibit number? I is admitted.
And I apologize to the court, but when he sits back, when the witness sits back, I can't see his face at all. I'd ask that you scoot up to the table so we can observe him. Thank you, Judge.
Is that better?
I'm getting his face up.
All right, let's keep going.
All right. They have this corner and they have this monitor there, and he's kind of getting behind it, and they've got a diagonal view, and they have a right to see him in his reactions, both physically and verbally. Okay.
And so you told investigators in this case that you knew someone or you recognized someone who was in the group, and that was this person named Ramon, right?
Ahora, entonces usted les dijo a los investigadores del caso que usted conocía a alguien o que reconocía a alguien que formaba parte del grupo y esa persona se llamaba Ramón, ¿cierto? No.
So right before we left for lunch, you testified that you had a conversation with investigators and there was a person who accompanied you in this group, and his name was Ramon, and that person was with you.
Okay, you got to give time for the interpreter to catch that up. She can't hold all that. The interpreter's got to break that up.
Justo antes del almuerzo, usted había explicado que había tenido una conversación con
That was a long one. She should have broke that up for the interpreter. I'm sorry. Not interpreter, translator. Only ASL is interpreted. Translation is the English to Spanish.
You don't remember telling us that before we took.
Oh, I misunderstood. He said that a lot.
No.
Okay. So when you met with Detective Barbara and Sheriff Hathaway, they told you that there might be another person in this group, or they gave you person and they asked you if you recognize the name or if you knew that person, do you recall them doing that?
Ahora, cuando usted se reunió con el detective Barba y el sheriff Hathaway, ellos le dijeron que quizá había otra persona, y le dieron un nombre,
I wish I knew Spanish at this point.
dijeron que quizá
I know
usted
nada.
reconocería o
That 5 words, nada is one of
¿Usted
them.
se acuerda de eso? I don't remember.
You don't remember telling me before we broke for lunch that you recognized the name Ramon, and that was somebody who was traveling in the group with you.
Usted no se acuerda que antes de la hora del almuerzo, usted me había dicho que usted reconocía el nombre de Ramón, que el Ramón fue alguien que estaba viajando con usted.
Oh, I see now. No, I don't remember. Short memory.
Do you have problems with your memory?
Señor, ¿tiene usted problemas con su memoria?
I know that was loud, sorry.
Yes.
What kind of problems?
¿Qué clase de problemas, señor? I was very scared. I was scared.
Were you scared before lunch when I was asking you questions?
Estaba usted asustado antes de la hora del almuerzo cuando yo le estaba haciendo preguntas a usted. Yes.
You're scared just sitting here testifying.
Tiene miedo.
This does not bode well for him.
Dando testimonio de usted. Yes.
And you're so scared that you can't remember what you testified to just before lunch.
Y usted está tan asustado que no se acuerda de a qué
Jury's not going to buy this.
dio testimonio ayer, hoy por la tarde antes del almuerzo. Que no se acuerda.
No.
No.
So you're not so scared to testify that you can't remember what you talked about before lunch, but you're telling me that you don't remember talking about this before lunch.
Así que no está tan asustado.
Real quick, because he's testifying, he could get a deal to possibly enter the U.S. legally.
Witnesses answered this question 3 or 4 times.
Ask and answer. I'm going to pause this real quick because I had a question, and it's an important one. This particular witness was caught a while back entering the U.S. with marijuana illegally. That's a federal crime. He was carrying it over the border in exchange for not paying a fee to the coyotes. So he was a mule. They got caught. That's a federal crime. He was deported. He can't come back into the U.S. legally. He can't even apply for it. So it's my understanding that it is a great possibility, not for sure, but a great possibility that if he was to apply to come back in the United States, the state of Arizona would intervene on his behalf. So he has an incentive to testify to help the prosecution. That may or may not become known to the jury.
You said that when you encountered Border Patrol, everybody ran and you dropped your backpack. Do you remember that testimony?
Ahora, usted dijo que cuando
Was it found on the
ustedes
property
se encontraron con el
of
Border
Mr.
Patrol,
Kelly?
todo el mundo salió corriendo
Has it
y
been
que
entered into
usted,
evidence?
dejó caer su mochila. ¿Se acuerda de ese testimonio? Yes.
Did Gabriel drop his backpack?
Gabriel también dejó que se cayera la mochila.
That's a
de
good
él.
question.
It was the water that we threw out.
Oh,
How
not the
were you
backpack.
carrying the water?
¿Cómo es que estaban cargando el agua? Inside the backpacks.
You said you
And
dropped your
when you
backpack.
Border Patrol and you ran, you said you dropped the water, right?
Entonces, cuando ustedes se encontraron con la patrulla fronteriza y corrieron, dijo usted que tiraron el agua, ¿correcto? Correct.
Did you drop the backpack as well?
También tiraron las mochilas, o tiró usted la mochila también. No.
So you took the water out of the backpack and you dropped the water?
Entonces,
How much water did
sacó
you
el
have
agua
remaining
de la
out of the
mochila
6
y
liters?
luego tiró el agua. Yes.
You had time to do that while you were running
tuvo tiempo de parecer eso mientras estaba huyendo de la patrulla fronteriza.
That's a good question.
After we rested a little, after we rested a little bit because we couldn't walk anymore.
Okay, my question was, you had
Okay, this is
time
serious.
to take water out of the backpack and drop it before you ran from Border Patrol.
Mi pregunta fue
What he
que si
testified to.
usted tenía tiempo para sacar el agua de la mochila y luego tirar.
They ran from Border Patrol and they stopped and rested on the property of George Kelly, and that's when the shots rang out. So he's getting impeached right now.
Passed, we heard that you could hear that the car had passed.
So you didn't run from Border Patrol when you heard the car. You waited until the Border Patrol car passed you before you ran.
Entonces, ustedes no empezaron a correr el momento en que escucharon el Border Patrol, esperaron hasta que el Border Patrol pasara para correr, ¿cierto? Yes.
And so why did you decide to get rid of your water if you didn't need to run away from Border Patrol?
Good question.
Entonces, ¿por qué fue que usted decidió tirar el agua si no necesitaba huir del Border Patrol? Because I was tired and I couldn't anymore.
So you just left all of your water?
Y entonces,
That doesn't make sense. They hold on to water more than anything. It was in the middle of January, so it wasn't that hot.
I just kept a little bit with me so that I could wet my lips.
So you didn't leave all of your water?
Entonces no dejó todo el agua. No.
How much water did you eat?
¿Cuánta agua fue? Usted se quedó, ¿qué cantidad de agua? A little bottle, that was it.
Okay, so you did.
1 second. If interpreter could get repetition, please. Usted dijo una botella y luego dijo otra cosa. One small bottle of Gatorade, that was what it was like of water.
So you did have water with you, correct?
Entonces sí tenía agua con usted, ¿correcto? Yes.
He testified earlier that he had 6-liter bottles of water each person.
And you and Gabriel then, because Border Patrol had already passed, did you run somewhere or did you walk?
Entonces usted y Gabriel, tomando en cuenta que el Border Patrol ya había pasado, ¿ustedes corrieron a un lugar o caminaron a un lugar? After we ran, we walked a little bit because we couldn't run anymore.
Why were you running?
¿Por qué es que estaban corriendo? Because we thought that we were going to be followed.
So you wanted to put some distance between yourself and the Border Patrol car that you saw. Is that what you did?
Querían distanciarse entre usted y el patrullero del Border Patrol, ¿correcto? Yes.
And was it your intention then to go back to Mexico?
Entonces, fue
That
la
doesn't make
intención
sense
de
to me.
usted volver a México. Yes.
We paid
And you and Gabriel
$2,500.
are just the two of you when this incident happens, is that right?
You pay $2,500 to come across the border. You get across the border. You hear a Border Patrol car, or what you assume is a vehicle owned by the Border Patrol. You didn't see them. You get so scared, you run to a certain point, then you start walking. You stop and take a break, you dump all your water, and then you're going to go back. Now, I'm no expert like the Border Patrol, but I've been to some of their classes, and I got to tell you, that's not how I believe it works, in my humble opinion.
Y en ese momento usted y Gabriel están solos cuando sucedió el incidente, ¿correcto? Yes.
How long did you run before you started to walk? How much time?
¿Cuánto tiempo corrió?
He has a look of
antes de
fear on his
empezar
face.
A caminar. ¿Cuánto tiempo?
And I'm talking about running from Border Patrol.
Y me refiero a caminar del Border Patrol. like 10 minutes.
So you ran for about 10 minutes and then you started walking?
Así que corrió.
How long did you
como 10
walk?
minutos y luego empezó a caminar. Yes.
Did you stop to rest at some point?
En algún momento se paró para descansar. Yes.
When the shooting took place, were you running or walking or resting? What were you doing right before the shooting took place?
Cuando sucedió, cuando salieron, empezaron los tiros, ¿qué estaban haciendo? Justo antes de los disparos, descansando, caminando, corriendo, perdón, si puede empezar de nuevo, caminando.
Sí. Y despacio porque venían como gringos.
We were walking slowly because we weren't doing very well. I for one wanted to vomit. I wanted to vomit.
I think, so you got sick before this shooting took place, is that right?
Entonces usted se enfermó antes de los disparos, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Yes.
And
Wrong.
you
He said he got
previously
sick
met with
after the shooting and he ran.
this case, right? On a number of different occasions, correct?
Y usted anteriormente
When he got to the
había
wall, he
tenido
said
con la
he
fiscalía
got
en
sick.
casos, en
After the
varias
shooting, he
ocasiones,
ran.
¿cierto?
When he got to the wall of Mexico border, he got sick.
No.
That's what he said
I'm
earlier.
asking about the folks who are sitting at this table. You've met with them before, correct?
Está hablando de las personas que están sentadas aquí en esta mesa. Usted ya ha hablado con ellos antes, ¿verdad?
Antes sí.
Before you.
Do you recall telling the prosecution that
Sorry.
you drank water out of a trough right before this shooting took place?
¿Usted recuerda haberle dicho a los fiscales que usted se paró y se tomó un tiempo para tomar agua de un bebedero antes de seguir? Yes.
But your testimony today is that you had water with you, is that correct?
Pero ahorita está diciendo, su testimonio es que usted traía agua.
Traía poquito y ya se me había terminado.
I had a little bit and I had already finished it.
So now you're saying you drank all your water and then you drank out of the trough.
Entonces usted está diciendo que ya se había tomado todo el agua y después tomó de un bebedero. Yes.
You're absolutely sure that it's just you and Gabriel when the shooting takes place, is that right?
¿Está usted absolutamente seguro que eran nomás usted y Gabriela a la hora de los disparos,
Sí.
verdad? Yes, yes.
Nobody else is around, right?
No había nadie más alrededor. No.
You said that you were next to, or you were near a house when this shooting took place, is that correct?
What color is
Usted
the
dijo que
house?
estaba enseguida o cerca de una casa cuando se dieron los disparos, ¿es correcto?
Casa no miré.
I didn't see a house.
In your earlier testimony, I heard you say there was a house with pine trees. You don't remember saying that earlier today?
Más temprano, hoy, usted dijo que había visto una casa con unos pinos
Atrás. No habían sido los disparos todavía.
in the back, and the shots hadn't been fired yet.
But at this location where the shots are fired, there's a house. That's what you testified to earlier, right? A house with pines.
Pero en este lugar donde se dieron los disparos, había una casa con pinos. Así fue lo que dijo más temprano.
Para atrás. Atrás, antes de que fueran los disparos. Antes de que fueran los disparos, pues estaba la casa que habían pasado, donde estaban los pinos.
Before the shots were fired, that's where I said, behind there was a house, we had passed by a house with a pine tree.
How long after you passed by that house? with
Pine trees? I don't recall pine
before the
trees.
shooting started?
There could have been.
¿Cuánto tiempo pasó? Desde que usted pasó ahí por la casa de los pinos a los disparos.
No, pero unos 5 minutos.
It wasn't long, just about 5, 6 minutes.
And you were walking. right?
Y usted iba caminando, walking,
And then you stopped to rest, right?
y luego se detuvieron a descansar.
Sí.
Yes.
How far away was the house from you when you stopped to rest?
¿Qué tan lejos le quedaba la casa cuando ustedes se pararon a descansar? About 10, 15 meters.
10 or 15 meters.
De 10 a 15 metros.
Sí.
Yes.
Can you show me with your hands approximately how big a meter is?
Me puede enseñar así con sus manos más o menos cuánto es un metro?
Un metro. Pues,
Acá arriba.
15 meters is approximately 49
Did
feet.
something like this is about a meter? Is that what you're saying?
Más o menos esta distancia, sí, esto es un metro.
a unas 5 veces para
So like 5 times this to where we had drank the water.
So what I'm asking you is when the shots are fired, I asked you how far away is this house with the pine tree? And you said about 10 meters, is that right?
50 feet. 49,
A
50
ver,
feet.
lo que yo le estoy preguntando es.
That's 15. It said 10 to 15 meters. 15 meters is about 49 feet.
La casa con los pinos, ¿qué tan retirada estaba? Usted dijo 10 metros, ¿verdad? Yes.
Okay, so you're about 10 meters away from a house.
Now it's
when
10.
Shots are firing at you.
Entonces estaba usted como a unos
It's actually
10 metros de
115
distancia de una casa.
yards where the
cuando
body
les
was found.
empezaron a disparar. Yes.
Were you near a road when this happened?
¿Estaba usted cerca de una calle?
She's impeaching
cuando
him.
esto pasó?
Thanks for watching, Christy.
I could see
Appreciate it.
the
Thank you for
road in
watching,
front
Miss
of me.
Linda.
Was that the road, I think you described it previously as the road that Border Patrol uses to go to the end of the wall. Is that the road you're talking about?
Esa es la calle, creo que usted la describió como que esa era la calle que usa el Border Patrol para ir a donde termina el muro. Esa es la calle de la que habla. Yes.
So you're next.
His
to the
measurements
road
aren't adding
Border
up, y'all.
Patrol uses to get to the end of the wall when the shooting takes place, correct?
Entonces usted está al lado de una calle, la calle que el Border Patrol usa para llegar al final del muro a la hora de los disparos, ¿correcto? Yes.
And 10 meters away from a house.
Y a 10 metros de distancia de una casa. Yes.
That's about
Are
30.
you near the
feet.
border wall when this happens?
¿Está usted cerca del muro de la frontera cuando esto pasó?
como unos 2 campos de fútbol.
Like about 2 football fields away.
Now it's 2 football fields away. This is getting a lot of.
From where you're standing when the shooting happens, you can see the border wall, correct?
You can see the border
A ver,
wall
le voy
from
a
where
preguntar
you're
de esta
standing.
manera. De donde usted estaba parado
Can't.
cuando los disparos, ¿usted alcanzaba a ver el muro?
Sí.
Yes.
Uh,
And you're saying today that that
I gotta pause here, y'all. I gotta pause here, y'all. She is impeaching the hell out of this witness. The border is about a mile and a half from the ranch. Let me show you. Here is, I'm gonna get this down. I'm gonna very inconsistent measurements. She's tripping him up because that's not what he testified to earlier today.
Y ahorita usted está diciendo que ese muro de la frontera, el muro de la frontera, estaba como a 2 campos de fútbol de distancia. Yes.
When you were testifying, when the prosecution was asking you questions, you said there was also a fence in this area. Do you recall saying that?
Cuando estaba dando su testimonio, cuando el fiscal le estaba haciendo preguntas, usted estaba dando su testimonio, el fiscal le preguntó que si había un cerco ahí, ¿recuerda eso?
Sí.
Yes.
What kind of a fence is that?
¿Qué tipo de cerco?
El muro. Está preguntando de lo del final del muro.
Are you asking about the border wall, the end of the border wall?
I'm asking about a fence. Did you see a fence that's not the border wall?
Estoy hablando de un cerco, de una cerca. Usted vio una cerca, que no es el muro, que no sea el muro.
Sí, pero no era donde estaba el caballo.
Well, I saw one, but it wasn't at the border wall. It was where the horse was, where we were being shot at.
So, do you recall again, in that conversation you had with Detective Rodriguez, do you recall him asking you if there were any fences around, and you said no?
Ahora, ¿usted se acuerda en la conversación que usted tuvo con el detective Rodríguez? El detective Rodríguez le preguntó que si había cercos y usted dijo que no.
Cuando estaba el caballo, antes estaba de bajar a hablar.
When we were being shot at, I did say there was a fence there.
And if I could have the witness take a look at the exhibits, that same transcript, for counsel table of the witness. Can you see that on your screen?
¿Alcanza a ver esto en su pantalla? Yes.
And you see at line 16, the question where the detective asks you, are there trees, fences, buildings?
Line 16.
Yes, that's where it is in Spanish.
¿Alcanza usted a ver en el renglón 16, donde dice, ahí en la calle es de tierra, hay árboles, cercos, and buildings?
That's the one.
Es ahí, esa renglón.
You remember being asked that question?
¿Usted se acuerda que le hicieron a usted esa pregunta? Yes.
And you responded and said no.
Y usted respondió y dijo, no.
Your response was
That
no.
no.
Is that correct?
Su respuesta fue que no. ¿Es correcto? Yes.
But today you're telling us there's a house, there's a fence, and there's the border wall, all right there in that area where the shooting happens, correct?
Usted dijo que no, pero ahora nos está diciendo que había una casa, que había un cerco y que estaba el muro de la frontera ahí cerca en el área, ¿verdad?
Pero esto fue después de los disparos.
But this right here was after the shots were fired.
You think you're being asked in this interview about what happens after the shots are fired?
¿Usted cree que esa parte de la entrevista es que le preguntaron después de los disparos? Yes.
So today what you're saying is these three things are in that area where the shooting is. The fence, the house, the border wall.
Entonces ahora usted está diciendo que estas 3 cosas estaban ahí en el área donde los disparos. Un cerco, una casa y ahí cerca estaba el muro de la frontera.
Sí.
Yes.
Valeria, you can take that down.
I think they've got this poor soul so confused he doesn't know if he's coming or going. Hey, I've been on a witness stand. I've been cross-examined. Let me tell you. I don't like it. It's not fun. He's working hard for his citizenship. And guys, don't nail me on that, but I'm not trying to be mean. But this can help him rectify the federal charge that he had for smuggling marijuana into the country and possibly gain citizenship.
You were
It
talking
will
earlier
help
about
him.
how shots just start being fired, is that right?
En ese
Hey,
disparo,
Tracy,
usted
thanks
dijo
for joining.
anteriormente que nomás empezaron que empezó a haber unos disparos. ¿Es correcto?
Sí.
Yes.
And you don't see anybody shooting at you at first, is that right?
Pero al principio usted no ve a nadie que le esté disparando a usted. No?
So somebody just randomly starts firing at you and Gabriel, that's what you're saying?
Entonces alguien de repente aleatoriamente les empieza a disparar a usted y a Gabriel. Eso es lo que usted está diciendo. Yes.
So he doesn't see the person. He hears the gunshots. The gunshots are allegedly up in the air. He's assuming he is personally being shot at.
Y la casa, creo que usted dijo que la casa le quedaba a su izquierda cuando esto estaba pasando. ¿Es correcto?
Pues, y no.
The one with the pine tree?
Are there more houses around you when the shooting happens?
Hay otras casas alrededor suyo cuando esto está pasando.
Yo más una casa en estado que no me metí en
No, it's just one house that I've talked about. That's the one that I mentioned. The one house.
Okay, so that house, is that to your left when the shooting happens?
Bueno, y esa casa le queda a su izquierda cuando le empiezan a disparar.
no te hagas sur, sí que estaba izquierda, pero disparos fueron de la derecha.
From north to south, yes, it was to my left, but the shots were being
How in
fired
west?
from the right.
I've
Or
been east.
coming from the right.
That's what I'm asking you. The house is to your left and the shots are coming at you from the right, is that correct?
Eso es lo que le estoy preguntando. La casa le quedaba del lado izquierdo, pero los disparos venían del lado derecho, ¿correcto? Yes.
And the horse is also to your right, in between you and where the shooting is coming from, is that right?
Y el caballo también le queda a la derecha. El caballo
No
está entre
rancher's gonna
usted
shoot in the
y de
direction of
donde
his
vienen
horse.
los disparos and the shots.
Okay. And I believe, what was the horse doing? Tell me what the horse was.
Y dígame por favor qué es lo que estaba haciendo el caballo.
El caballo brincaba, pero ya cuando Gabriel me dijo que diera, nomás se agarró el pecho y volteó a ver así. Y ya pues yo nomás le puse porque
So the horse is bucking.
y ya pensando yo que a mí me habían, que yo estaba volteado también porque me caí y fue cuando yo corrí al pollo.
He had an interesting way of describing that horse earlier.
And then that's when Gabriel told me I'm hit, and he grabbed his chest. And so that's when I
Abandoned your
prayed to
friend and
God,
ran.
and at first I thought I didn't know if I was hit, and so I fell, and that's when I ran to the wash.
It's not the testimony he gave earlier.
The horse, did anything happen to the horse?
El caballo. Algo le pasó al caballo.
Pues yo no sé de los sustos de los estados, ya estaba yo no supe si quedó muerto o quedó vivo, pero yo lo único que le di gracias a Dios fue y al caballo porque me iba a topar. Porque yo sabía si los disparos venían sobre mi camino.
Yes, well, I don't know. I was so afraid, and I'm so nervous that I don't know I didn't know then if the horse had died or if it was alive. I just thank God and the horse for saving me. I didn't know if I was hit then.
The horse was not between the rancher and him.
Died or got injured in this incident.
Y entonces usted no sabe si el caballo se murió en este incidente o si estaba
No
lesionado.
sé por qué ya no volví a mirar.
I didn't know because I didn't see him again.
When you spoke with Detective Barba and Sheriff Hathaway about this incident, you told them that the horse died. You recall making that statement?
Cuando usted habló con el
Impeachment
detective
again,
Barba
ladies and
y con
gentlemen.
el sheriff Hathaway sobre este incidente, usted les dijo que el caballo se había muerto. ¿Se acuerda de eso?
Yo dije que el caballo caía y se volvía a levantar y revisaba y que yo ya no supe si le había pegado a él, porque a mí yo ya había corrido por el arroyo y que todavía no había, yo ya no miraba el caballo si estaba muerto
The horse was not hit, nor did the horse die. The horse did react and started running, but
What
no
I
was
did
hit nor
say
died.
was that I saw that the horse fell and then got up and then it neighed, but I didn't know if he was hit because I just ran and I ran to the wash and I didn't see the horse again, so I didn't say he was dead or not.
In a deposition, you did.
told Detective Barba and Sheriff Hathaway that this horse died.
Pero usted le dijo al detective Barba y al sheriff Hathaway que el caballo se murió.
No sé qué se llama esto, que es que a lo mejor
His story slightly changes a lot. It's like that. I mean, it is changing. He's done several depositions. He has talked
I didn't
to
say that
people.
he had died. I said that I thank God and that horse, because if it hadn't been for the horse, I wouldn't be here telling the story.
That's a new addition to his story, because the first time he told it, he said his friend said, "Oh, I've been shot." His friend fell down and then he ran. Period. And he ran so hard to the border that by the time he got to the border wall, he was throwing up. I'm shorting it, but that's basically what he said. So he's embellishing as he's being gassed.
Can you see that?
¿Alcanza a ver eso? Yeah.
And that is Exhibit H.
Ese es el evento.
Now, technically, he's supposed to be saying yes or no, but he's nodding, and
And
the
that's a
translator is
transcript
answering
of
yes for him, but
conversation that you had
they
with
should be
Sheriff
nailing him and
Hathaway.
making him say yes and no. Nods do not account for testimony in a court of law.
And if you could take a look at lines 19 and 20 and line 25.
Okay, this is in his
Si puede ver,
deposition.
por favor, los renglones 19 y 20 y el renglón 25.
Captionings aren't
Tell me
doing
if that
well.
refreshes your recollection about what you said about the horse.
Dígame si eso le refresca su memoria sobre lo que usted dijo del caballo.
yo dije el caballo no sé que no sabía si estaba muerto o estaba vivo, porque yo ya no volví a mirar porque yo en mi cambio
I told them that I didn't know if the horse was dead or not because I didn't see the horse again because there was still shots being fired and I didn't know if I was hit.
You know when you're hit by a bullet, number one. Number two,
But you did say
change
that
in
the
testimony
horse
number
dropped
3.
Right there. You recall that?
Pero usted sí dijo que el caballo ahí cayó. Sí dijo
cayó,
eso,
sí,
¿recuerda
cayó,
eso?
sí, que cayó, sí, pero pues no sé si cayó muerto.
Yes, that it fell, that it dropped there, but I didn't know if it was dead or alive.
I'm glad you can take that down. Thank you. I'm sorry, can you put that right back up? Thought I was done, but I'm not. Can you see what's on your screen there?
Lo que está en la pantalla, ahí,
And I'm looking at line 4 and 5.
estoy viendo renglones 4 y 5.
Can you read that to yourself and see if that refreshes your recollection about what you told Sheriff Hathaway about the horse?
Puede leer eso y ver si eso, al hacer eso, le refresca la memoria sobre qué es que usted le dijo al Sheriff Hathaway sobre el caballo.
And did you tell Sheriff Hathaway, but the horse, he did shoot it. He must have shot it too, because I saw the horse rear up backwards and then forwards. Do you recall making that statement to Sheriff Hathaway?
Usted se acuerda que usted le comentó al Sheriff Hathaway que usted dijo, pero el caballo, sí, ha de haber, también pegado al caballo porque él, brincó para arriba y luego para atrás.
Do you recall making
Duh.
that statement?
That's a
¿Usted se
look of
acuerda de haber
confusion.
hecho esa declaración? Yes.
So maybe you didn't tell Sheriff Hathaway that the horse died, but you definitely said he must have shot it. He did shoot it.
Entonces, usted no le dijo al Sheriff Hathaway que ha de haber muerto. If the interpreter could have repetition, please, Your Honor.
You might not have told Sheriff Hathaway that the horse died, but you did tell the Sheriff Hathaway he did shoot it, meaning the horse. The horse was shot.
Puede que usted no le dijo al señor al Sheriff Hathaway que
The horse was not shot in any way, shape, or form. No animals were harmed in this.
Que le había pegado al
Not of the
caballo.
four-legged kind.
El caballo brincaba y que pues, dijeron que lo
The horse, he says, fell, but horses can fall because they're
porque como
scared.
Gabriel dijo me dieron, yo salí corriendo y el caballo siguió luchando, brincaba para atrás, brincaba para frente.
it reared up, it could have fallen back.
So the horse jumped, and I figured that he probably saved.
Now he jumped.
And, when Gabriel said, "I've been shot," I went running, and the horse continued to jump up and down and also neigh.
You said it jumped and fell. Now you're saying it's jumping up and down, so you're assuming
When the
you're
shooting
changing your
takes place,
testimony
you
again.
see Gabriel fall down. Is that correct?
Cuando suceden los disparos, usted lo ve a Gabriel caerse, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Yes.
And you're standing one step behind Gabriel. We can do this one way, sorry. You're standing one step behind Gabriel when Gabriel gets shot. Is that correct?
Y cuando le dan a Gabriel, usted está parado un paso atrás de él, ¿cierto? Yes.
So you were behind him when he got shot, correct?
Entonces, cuando le dieron a él, usted estaba atrás de él.
That was a through and through bullet.
And I know
If he
you
had
said
been
the
shot through and
house
through, where did the
was
bullet go? It
left,
would have hit him.
And the shooting's coming from your right. Where is the border wall?
Y ahora yo sé que usted dijo que la casa estaba a la derecha de usted y luego los disparos venían de la derecha. De la derecha. ¿Dónde está el muro? The wall? Sorry?
I'm just trying to figure out which direction are you facing when the shooting takes place? When Gabriel gets hit and he falls backwards, which direction are both of you facing?
By the way, he was found facing forward on his face. And he was shot in the side back, and it came through the front. So Gabriel would have had to have been facing the wall, not the house.
To the south.
You're facing south.
Están hacia el sur.
So he's facing the wall.
So the border wall is in front of you, correct?
Entonces el muro de la frontera está delante de ustedes, ¿correcto?
How
Yes.
can
And it's about 2 football fields away, correct?
Y estamos hablando de 2 canchos de fútbol, ¿correcto? Una distancia de 2 canchos. Yes.
give me a little go? Come on.
When Gabriel falls down, he falls over backwards, is that correct?
Y cuando Gabriel se cae para atrás, ¿cierto?
Sí, se agarró el pecho y no me dijo.
By the way, he's
Yes,
not
it's
mentioned
right.
anything about him being
All
shot in the
grass
back
is
and coming out the
chest,
front.
and he said, "I've been hit."
And he falls towards you because you're behind him, correct?
Y se cae hacia usted porque usted está atrás de él, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Yes.
You could see his eyes when he fell backwards, correct?
Usted podía ver los ojos de él cuando él se cayó para atrás, ¿cierto?
Sí.
Yes, I noticed his eyes moved back his head like that.
How did he land? Did he land on his back?
¿Cómo quedó? Se quedó, o sea, quedó en el suelo, en la espalda, boca arriba.
Estaba así, boca arriba.
He ended up like this, head up.
So he landed on his back.
Entonces se quedó en la espalda. Yes.
Okay. And then you jumped over him, correct? And kept running?
Y luego usted me brincó sobre él y siguió corriendo.
Sí.
Yes.
some point you looked back to see the person.
At what time did you
shooting
pray
at
over him?
Gabriel, is that
Or
correct?
pray? You said you prayed.
Dio la vuelta para atrás para ver y vio al Señor que estaba, que le había dado a Gabriel, ¿cierto? Yes.
And how far away were you when you looked back and you saw the person?
¿Qué tan lejos estaba usted cuando usted dio la vuelta y vio para atrás y lo vio a la persona y la vio a la persona?
Pues sí, como ya casi llegando.
We may have an objection coming up.
El arroyo, porque en el arroyo me iba bien y volteaba a ver para atrás, así me
Momentico. So I was almost at the wall because I went down into a wash and I was hiding in the wash and I was looking there.
How is that possible with all the terrain between him and the wall?
2 football fields away, that's the border wall, right?
Estamos hablando de lo largo de dos campos de fútbol, digo, 2 campos de fútbol, ¿correcto? Es la distancia entre donde estaban ustedes y el muro, ¿correcto? Yes.
You say you first hide in a wash, is that right?
Y usted
Ravine.
primero se escondió en el arroyo, ¿cierto? Yes.
And how long are you hiding in that wash?
¿Cuánto tiempo está escondiéndose en el arroyo?
iba corriendo.
I was running, but along the wash.
Okay, so where is the wash taking you?
¿Dónde es que lo está llevando a usted?
Which way is it going?
El arroyo, corrí, y yo más pedí a Dios que iba a ayudar para que la luego no.
I was running, I was just asking God to please help me so that I could get to the wall.
So you're running in the wash to try to get to the wall. My question is, at what point do you look back to see if what's happening with Gabriel?
He's understanding a little bit of what she's saying. You can tell him he's processing it.
Usted está corriendo por el arroyo,
okay.
intentando llegar al muro. Mi pregunta es, ¿en qué momento da la vuelta para atrás para ver qué está pasando con Gabriel?
Pero que subí del arroyo, que subí a lo alto, pero cuando llegó
If he's in the wash,
When
he
I got
can't
out
see.
of the wash and I was higher up, that was when I turned around.
Okay.
So when he climbed
So
out of the wash.
You can't see from inside the wash because it's low. So you
No
run,
puede ver desde adentro del arroyo.
But if you see the terrain, I'll put it up again.
Yes.
so you
Yes,
run
I'll put it up
couldn't
a
see
break.
anything from
Well,
the wash.
Okay, we got to do this. I got to do this. It's driving me crazy.
down the wash and then you climb out of the wash and you look back.
Entonces corre un rato mientras está por el arroyo y luego sube del arroyo, trepa el arroyo y luego da vuelta en ese momento.
Sí.
Yes.
And you're almost at the wall at this point, correct?
Y casi están
So I had it right.
en este momento, ¿cierto? Yes.
How
Cuando usted da la vuelta para atrás y ve.
No way he could have seen him.
Está del muro usted.
Pues así igual, una y medio, acá por el medio.
It's all the same, 1 or 1.5, the length of the 1.5 of the ball field.
Okay.
2/3 of the way to the wall.
When you looked back, you said when you were with Gabriel, when the shooting happened, the wall is 1 or 2, or is 2 football fields away. When the shooting happens, correct?
Ahora estoy preguntando sobre cuando usted dio la vuelta para atrás. Usted mencionó que cuando estaba usted con Gabriel, la distancia en donde estaban
I'll be
ustedes
back, yo.
y el muro fue una distancia de como 2 campos de fútbol, ¿cierto? Yes.
My question is, after you run away, the shooting happens, you're running away, you go into a wash, you climb out of a wash, now how far are you from the wall?
Entonces mi pregunta es, ya después de que usted se va corriendo, ya están sucediendo los disparos, usted sigue corriendo, usted baja el arroyo, sube del arroyo, ahora, ya en ese momento, ¿qué tan lejos está usted del muro?
Me faltaba como medio campo para llegar.
About a half of a soccer field.
So you're much closer to the wall when you look back, correct?
Está mucho más cerca a la pared, ya cuando usted da la vuelta para atrás para ver. Yes.
How far away was Gabriel when you look back?
Cuando usted dio la vuelta para atrás, ¿qué tan lejos estaba Gabriel?
It was my birthday yesterday, y'all. Thank you, Tracy and Doug.
Like I was saying, he was about a soccer field and a half away from my dream.
And is that the same distance that you see the person, meaning not Gabriel, the shooter?
Y así es la misma distancia de donde está usted
Proper way to eat.
y la otra persona. Y cuando digo persona, me refiero no a Gabriel, sino a que estaba disparando. Digamos. The shooter, I didn't see him. When the shots were going off, I didn't see Gabriel, and I didn't see the shooter until after the shots, and I had run away.
That's what I'm asking. How far away are you when you see the shooter?
Sí, es lo que estoy preguntando. ¿Qué tan lejos está usted de Gabriel? Digo, cuando usted ve tirado.
De como a 1 y medio de campo.
1.5.
And is that person, the person who you believe is the shooter, is he standing over Gabriel's body?
Y esa persona, la persona que usted cree que es tirado, está encima del cadáver de Gabriel. He was there close.
How close?
¿Qué tan cerca?
He can't see from where he's saying he was.
Being that I was so scared and that I was so frightened, I really don't remember well.
Okay, but he was very close to where Gabriel was, is that correct?
Está bien, pero estaba muy cerca y no estaba Gabriel, ¿cierto? Yes.
And I think with Detective Rodriguez, you described the shooter as standing over Gabriel's body. Do you recall that?
Y creo que cuando ustedes como identifiquen lo que ustedes lo describían como que Gabriel estaba parado encima del cuerpo de Gabriel. ¿Ustedes se acuerdan de eso? Yes.
Okay. You also said, I believe you described Detective Rodriguez as seeing a vehicle arrive at the end of the wall. Do you recall that?
Creo que también usted le describió lo que usted había visto un vehículo que llegó al final del muro. ¿Se acuerda de eso? Yes. usted vio un vehículo al final del muro donde, perdón, at the end of the wall, usted vio un vehículo donde termina el muro y entonces estaban los disparos, ¿cierto? At that point, there wasn't any shooting going on.
Right, my question is, when the shooting happens, so you're saying when the shooting happens, you can see the end of the wall, and there's no vehicle at the end of the wall while the shooting is happening.
Mi pregunta es, cuando están sucediendo los disparos, usted puede ver el final del muro y ver que no hay ningún vehículo. Yes.
But
So you could
when
see the wall
got
where
to
the shooting
end of the
happened.
wall, there was a vehicle there, is that correct?
Pero cuando usted llega al final del muro, sí había un vehículo ahí, ¿correcto? It arrived.
It arrived, and I think you said that you tried to flag it down or gesture to point to where the shooting was happening. Do you recall that?
Y creo que usted mencionó que intentó señalarle al vehículo que había un tiroteo, ¿verdad? Yes.
So you did that when you got to the end of the wall, is that correct?
Así que hizo eso cuando usted llegó al final del muro, ¿correcto? Correct, yes.
Did you see the person in this vehicle? Did they acknowledge you in any way? What happened with the vehicle?
Y usted vio a alguna persona en el vehículo, la persona en el vehículo le dio de entender que lo vio a usted. ¿Qué sucedió con el vehículo?
No sé si me mandaron, pero yo sí lo mandaba a ellos porque yo estaba cerquita de ellos porque estaba
I have my puppers down here, y'all.
I don't know if they were able to see, but I did see them right at the end of the wall. But I was lying flat out from both being scared, tired, being super nervous.
Then you went back into Mexico, correct?
Luego ya después, y ya regresó a México, ¿correcto? Yes.
And when the shooting happened and you ran away, you didn't stop, right? You kept running.
You didn't stop and render aid to your buddy of 20 years. You let him lay there and die. You knew he was shot. You abandoned your best friend.
Until you crossed the wall back into Mexico, correct?
Usted siguió corriendo hasta que usted cruzó el muro y regresó a México, ¿correcto?
me preparé antes de como al campo y de repente me dispararon, se separaron y dispararon y yo corrí y pues bueno, subí a la barra y después cuando me metí de poder a la
Well, I did stop when I was about 1.5 football fields away. That was when I got out of the wash and I looked.
4.5 football fields away now.
So you stopped for just a second or so to look back, is that correct?
Y entonces usted paró un segundo o 2 segundos para voltear, ¿cierto? Yes.
How long did it take you from the shooting happens, you start running, until you get back into Mexico? How long did that take?
¿Cuánto tiempo tardó entre cuando suceden los disparos y para que usted regrese a México? Like a half an hour? The interpreter maybe ahora o 15 minutos. Before I got to the border, 15 minutes running the whole time.
So it should take you 15 minutes to cover a distance that's 2 football fields?
Entonces, me tardó 15 minutos para cubrir una distancia de 2 campos de fútbol.
Pero no tenía tiempo porque yo lo que quería era sacar.
Yes, but I also wasn't keeping time. What I wanted to do is I wanted to save my life.
So you agree you can
2 minutes,
bien rápido.
if you're healthy. Less?
Llegar de un campo de fútbol, ¿cierto? Yes.
Especially if you're scared, right?
Especialmente si uno tiene miedo. Yes.
Especially if someone's shooting, right?
Especialmente si alguien está tirando balas. Yes.
How long does it take you to run the length of one football field, for example?
¿Cuánto tiempo le tarda para correr el largo de un campo de fútbol? Algo de-
Lo que dice que era sacar un poco más de una salida porque yo creo que estaba muy alto y yo creo que estaba para
So, well, as I said, I wasn't keeping time. What I was able to do was turn, and again, what I was trying to do was, I was trying to get away, and in addition, I had to take a right and keep running.
So it's not a straight line and it's not flat, correct?
Entonces no es línea recta y no es plano, ¿verdad? No.
But you were still running as fast as you could, I would imagine.
Pero de todos modos me imagino que usted se quería correr lo más rápido posible. ¿Ya?
Did you run directly to the end of the wall, or did you run to the wall and then have to run along the wall before getting to the end?
¿Usted corrió directamente al final del muro o corrió al muro y luego tuvo que correr a lo largo del muro para llegar al final? I had to run along the wall to get to the end.
So that might be why it takes longer, because you have to go around, is that right?
Entonces a lo mejor por eso le tomó tanto tiempo porque le tenía que dar toda la vuelta. ¿Es correcto?
Sí, bueno, cruzando el arroyo, crucé todo el arroyo porque era plano antes de disparó.
So he runs kind of, I would imagine, kind of like zigzagging, hopscotching, and round trees and whatnot. And then he hits the border wall, and then he has to run along the border wall to get to the end of it.
Okay, so I
can see that taking a little bit of
go to
time.
the wash, start running it, on the wash. So where the wash was and where the shots were coming from was a distance from like here to the door.
Okay. When you were running along the wall, before you go around the wall, is the wall to your right or is the wall to your left?
Ahora, cuando va corriendo a lo largo del muro, ¿el muro le queda del lado derecho o del lado izquierdo? I don't understand on the right how, if I'm running,
So you run to the wall first, right?
okay. Usted primero corre y llega al muro, ¿verdad? Yes.
And then you have to run around it to get to the spot. You have to run along it to get to the spot where it ends, right?
Entonces, ya llegó al muro y luego tiene que correr a lo largo del muro para llegar a donde se acaba el muro. I'm running straight in front and the wall is on this side.
On what side?
¿De qué lado? ¿Izquierda o derecha? On the right side.
On your right.
That doesn't make sense. The wall should have been on his left. By the picture, the wall should have been on his left. But then again, it depends on where the wall ends, but I think it should have been on his left. I'll be right back.
Did you never saw a weapon in this instance, is that correct?
En este incidente usted nunca vio un arma, ¿correcto? No,
But you heard shots, correct?
pero escuchó disparos, ¿correcto? Yes.
Do you remember telling Sheriff Hathaway and also Detective Raul Rodriguez that this was what you refer to as a cuerno de chivo? Do you remember that?
Usted recuerda haberle dicho a Sheriff Hathaway y al detective Raúl Rodríguez que usted dijo que esos eran, que eso era de un cuerno de chivo, ¿recuerda eso? Yes?
So you told investigators that the weapon that was used in this incident was a cuerno de chivo.
Y Entonces usted le dijo a los investigadores que el arma que se usó en este incidente era un cuerno de chivo. Yes.
Is that a slang term for an AK-47?
Eso es jerga para una AK-47. I don't understand.
When you say cuerno de chivo, what do you mean?
Cuando usted dice cuerno de chivo, ¿a qué se refiere?
Porque
Because the sound is different from that of a gun.
So you have heard the sound of a cuerno de chivo before, correct?
Entonces usted ha escuchado el sonido que emite un cuerno de chivo antes, ¿correcto? Yes.
And you recognize that sound?
Y usted reconoce ese ruido. Yes.
Because you've been present when somebody has fired this type of weapon before?
Porque usted ha estado ahí presente cuando alguien dispara ese tipo de arma. I've heard it during prisons.
Is that prisons in Nogales, Sonora, Mexico? Do people fire these weapons off?
En Navidad, en Nogales, Sonora, México. En las Navidades, la gente dispara.
Yeah, they fire their weapons in the air to celebrate,
And that's
which
how
is
you know
stupid because the bullet's got to
Y
come
así es
down.
como supo usted que era eso. Yes.
Just one moment, sorry.
That poor old man. Oy, 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 oy. Oy, 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 oy. That's horrible. Ha, that hurts. Okay. Not to say, when you're running for your life and things are going on, you're not going to have everything.
We'll take a recess about 2:45. We'll come back in 30 minutes, about 3:15. Get together and adjourn.
Okay, they're going to take a break. Then they'll be back. But a lot of confusion. And I understand. Oh, didn't mean to do that, y'all. It's me who needs to be bigger. I understand the guy is scared out of his mind. He's coming into the country illegally for the 10th time. Every time he's been caught at some point along the way or the other. He alleges his friend was shot. He was scared. He started running back. I'm like, as many times as you tried to come across the border, I wouldn't have run back. I might run east or west, but I wouldn't run south. Why would you go back? Unless you were a coyote or a mule. And some of the things that bother me right now is that Gabriel, the victim, was found face down, not on his back. Not to say he couldn't rolled over after, but I don't think he would have lived too long with that gunshot wound. We'll find out more when they get the ballistic reports and everything. Well, not much of that because there's no bullet. But the forensic report and the forensic people will probably be testifying. Then, but the Gabriel had pictures, a crossbody that he wore, fanny pack, a crossbody, and then camouflaged in color, and then a backpack that was camouflaged in color. And once they, hold on a sec. Sorry. So what happens is he's said he's known this guy for 20 years. He said that neither he or Gabriel knew that the other was going to be crossing that day until they met up at the location for those crossing and they met with the coyote, or the person taking him across, and the guides. He says that they got across the border. They each had a backpack. They each had 6 liters of water that they carried in the backpack, which is not, they'd have to have some in hand as well. And that they had crossed the border, and that they had heard a vehicle. The coyote guide said it was Border Patrol. They all scatter and run. He and Gabriel are together. He has no idea where anybody else is. It was all men, no women. And then he states that they run for a period of time. I'd say he said about 10, 15 minutes. They stopped for a moment to rest. At that point, they emptied their backpacks of water. At first, he said he dropped the backpack, but then he went back and said, I dropped the water. Then he said that he and Gabriel got up. My memory serves me correct. And Gabriel was shot. Gabriel says, I'm shot, puts his hand on his chest, the other hand up, and falls back. At the exact same time, the horse is jumping and rearing, and he said the horse fell. He stated in a deposition under oath, that is recorded, that the horse died. Then he stated no, the horse was jumping around. He assumed it had been shot. Changed his story on that a little bit. He said that he and Gabriel were as close as 15 meters, 10 to 15 meters. 15 meters is 49 feet. Excuse me. Sorry, I took some allergy meds and now I'm yawning. From the house, when the body was found 115 yards away. So that's a little disconcerting there's a lot of inconsistencies in this. A lot of inconsistencies he's starting to show. Then he turns around and says that when Gabriel was shot, he ran. Then in cross-examination, he says he prayed and he got up and ran. He was asked if he went through the backpack. He said no, did not touch the backpack. He asked if Gabriel had a fanny pack. He said nope, he did not see one. He asked, come here, Sensei. My puppers. He was asked, come here. He was asked if he saw a radio. He said no, he did not see one. Come here. He was asked if he had known if Gabriel was carrying any weapons or if he was carrying any drugs. He said he was not. That's presumptuous because, from my understanding and what I've learned, now once again, my education is limited, but compared to a Border Patrol agent, but a little more than the common folks. Long time ago went down to the valley, down to the border of Mexico and Texas, and did some training and getting some education. But when people are mules, a mule is somebody who carries drugs or illegal something into the country for someone else, which this guy had done once and gotten caught. He did it once, he probably did it again, but I can't say for sure. That's my speculation. But you wouldn't necessarily tell the Joe Blow next to you who you don't know, oh, by the way, I'm carrying drugs for this guy over here. Or I've got a gun. I'm carrying it for so-and-so. You keep your mouth shut because the person you're with may kill you for it. So for him to say nobody was carrying anything is very presumptuous. He would not know. One of the other things that kind of concerned me was the way he was describing. Maybe I get a cup of coffee. The way he was describing the distance between the house and where Gabriel was shot, and he was standing between him and the border. It was just back and forth inconsistent to a point. Either that or I was getting confused, but it looked like he was getting confused. I think it's about a mile or a little over a mile to the border from the house. And let me see something. I'm going to Google something. How many football fields make up a mile? I don't want to know how many laps around. Okay, let's do it this way. A football field is 1/18 of a mile. An American football field is 100 yards long. A mile is 1,760 yards long. So that would be 17 football fields. So he was saying it was two. I'm sorry, someone's texting me. Was going to go after work, but I'll do it another day. Period. Yes, a latte would be awesome. So, yeah, friend, getting me a latte. I'm tired. So it would be if in fact the football fields. What the heck happened here? Get me back up. Camera layout. Come on, get me back up. Thank you. If the 17 football fields roughly is a mile. If it is, it's a 1,700 and I think he said 60 yards. A little over 1,700 yards is a mile, and each football field's 100 yards. That's 17. He's saying 2 football fields between where he. Okay, so it's a football. He was saying it was about 15 meters between the victim where he got shot in the house. That's 50 feet roughly. That's 49 feet. I looked it up. And then he said he ran for 2 more football fields to get to the border. And it took him 15 minutes to run a football field. Math doesn't add up, y'all. Let me Google this. How long does it take to run a football field length? How long does the average person take to run the length of a football field without stopping? Takes 10 to 15 seconds to run the length of a football field at 100 yards or 91.44 meters without stopping. How old? That's varied depending on fitness and age. So a high school student can cover this in 10 to 15 seconds. Someone his age, he's a contract laborer. He's a masonry. He does masonry work. This man is fit. And just by looking at him, you can tell he's fit. So if he is in fear of his life and he is running like a bat out of Haiti, he can do 2 football fields in a minute. If he's going down gullies and going wickware, okay, let's give him 5 minutes to do 2 football fields. If you're running full throttle, full force. It's not adding up. The interesting thing with this guy is that, and I've said it quickly and I'll explain it more. Now I got the hiccups. When you are convicted of a felony, which he was for illegally transporting marijuana into the company as a mule in exchange for having a guide get him into the U.S. illegally. So that's multiple crimes there. you get a federal charge, you are not going to be given entry into the United States. Okay, you're not. So someone asked, could he have been promised anything to testify? And that would be yes. Because if he chooses, it did it again. He chooses to reapply for the U.S., the state of Arizona, the Attorney General for Arizona can testify on his behalf with immigration and said he's seen the error of his ways and he testified. He helped the United States government try to put a murder away. So he potentially could get an opportunity to reapply. I don't know what they've promised him. If I was a defender, I would say, what were you promised in exchange for your testimony? That would be a good question. Although a lot of times they're going to say, nada, nothing. But in this situation, it can help him. So he has an added interest. Oh, sorry. I love spell correct. I love it. The telephone likes to the cell phone likes to change what I'm saying. So I just don't know his motive. I don't really know for sure. Some of the things that have happened is earlier, because here's the thing. I think he was one of the witnesses that the investigator, whatever investigator it was, sheriff or whomever, went to Mexico and interviewed, did not record, have no documentation of this full interview other than a 6-minute synopsis of the interview. And that's a problem, my dear friends. And then so he interviewed this guy and one other person in a room with the 2 daughters who were both pregnant of Gabriel's. I don't know who all was involved, but it's apparently by the statement that was made, an opening statement, it was not a private conversation. And they did not go to the authorities in Mexico and get consent or at least let them know that they were coming and why they were coming. They just went and did it. I don't know how all that works legally, but that to me doesn't make a lot of sense because usually you have to have memorandums of understanding when people in positions of authority such as police, sheriff, FBI, and all that. So once again, I'm not an expert in that. That's my own humble opinion. And I promise you I'm getting this shirt. The other thing was that then they've had some depositions. They've had other interviews with him that the defense wasn't a part of. So it is alleged that this is maybe what's called a tainted witness. It is alleged. Once again, this is not necessarily all my opinion. This is some of the things I'm seeing, some of the things I'm reading, some of the things I've gotten from other commentators, some of the things that's going on. I've been blessed to finally find out how to get the court documents for this court. Not all court documents are easy to get, but with this one, I did get them. However, I have not been able to get my hands on anything that has been submitted for the trial. I just have been able to get my hands on the charges and whatnot. So let me get back to the Facebook page. She's going in and out. Okay. Let me get back all the way up with them. So one of the things that I'm struggling with, could he be the killer? Why would he run back to Mexico if he wasn't a mule or wasn't a coyote himself? We'll learn more of the victim's wounds and everything later, but from what I've seen and read, There's just a lot of questions. Makes me scratch my head going, I'm not too sure about all this. So they are going to be back shortly. They did take a 30-minute. This court takes more breaks. Morning break, afternoon breaks, 30 minutes each. They take 2 hours for lunch. That's 3 hours a day right there. They only work for 5 hours a day. Amazing. And we all sit here and work through all of it. I am wondering how many other witnesses are going to be. Let me try and bring up a picture for you guys. See if I can bring it up. See if I can bring up photos of the ranch. Images, ranch images. Okay, I found an image of the ranch, but I gotta see. Share this tab instead. Here we go. Okay, here is, can I enlarge this? Can I make it bigger? No? Help me, y'all. Let me go to the visit site. That might be, okay, here's the house. Did y'all follow with me? Oh, I gotta share this tab instead. Ah, no, that's not what I want. That's not what I want. Okay, come on. I just lost my tab. I accidentally lost my tab. Entire screen. Audio, share. Okay, we want to X out of this. We want to go to his ranch. Okay. This here is his ranch. And way back here, where that little red thing is the Mexican wall. Let me scroll down. I hate all this stuff that pops up. So here is, can I? No. Here is the ranch. Here is Nogales. It is 1.5 miles from the ranch to this little spot right there. That is supposedly the end of the wall, and that is where the guy ran. So it looks like it's 1.5 miles. And this is the victim. Okay, here is a good picture of the border. See that dark line within the red right at the tip of my cursor? That is the border wall. Here is the dirt road. So you have him standing where can I enlarge this? Oh, I don't want to do that. I hate all this stuff that pops up. Control. No, that's not going to work. So here's the house where my cursor is. Here's the barbecue pit. He's standing somewhere where my cursor is. The victims are going to be somewhere right about here. That's about a football field length away. You have a wall for the patio. You have a few little trees. You have a driveway. You have more trees. You have a fence. Then you have a road, and then there was another fence. So there was 2 fences he had to hop over for him to shoot. Let me see if they got anything else that's closer. Nope, that's it. So with that, we'll get back to the... Uh-oh, looks like they're getting ready to come in. Let me get this back up and running. I should. Hopefully let me redo the presentation. So it's about 1.5 miles for them to get to the end of the wall and run around it, as per that diagram shows. So that might take 20 minutes, 30 minutes. I don't know, depending on how you're running, if you're running a straight line, if you're running through a gully and whatever. Ravine, as we call it, they call it a wash. So I wish I had some more input, y'all. Come on. Comment, like, share, subscribe. I really would love to hear from you. I'm going to go on and see what their comments are saying. Okay, they're talking about other things. Did the witness ever point to Kelly and say he's the one that shot Gabriel? No. He stated he only saw the shirt. At one point he said, I could not. He didn't see the face. He didn't see his head. He just saw the shirt. And then after being pushed by prosecution, he finally said gray or white hair, silver, whatever. But he's sitting right there. So, duh. Tawanda, Mary Lou, never in my life did I think I would ever see a trial like this. Spend $1 million on a trial, millions of dollars on a trial for a drug runner who gets shot by the cartel and charged in America for it. I'm not reading some of this. He said, that is the best state to be in, is thinking outside the box. I need to go back and read that more. I'm not going to get into anything that's political. Katie said it's a very dangerous territory. It is. It is a travesty. We're waiting on the court. Well, here's I really want to say this. Water. If you are truly going to be traveling a quite distance and you have water, that is one of the last things you're going to drop is food or water. One of the last things. But we haven't gotten to this part of the trial yet, but I'm going to be anxious to see how much water they say they found laying around the body, because apparently not either far from the body or the body itself is where they dumped the water. And I'm sure if they did a good investigation, which I hope they would, the water would have been found when they kind of spread out and looked for evidence. But if they didn't find any of the water, I'm going to be questioning. I will be questioning, because that would be something I would be looking for. I am pulling up a map of Arizona because I want to find out. I don't want this. Just stop it. Give me the map of Arizona. I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy the map of Arizona. Nogales to Phoenix. Trying to find out. Phoenix, Arizona in miles. Why didn't it put it? Phoenix. Phoenix. Jeez, I have to get mad at the thing. Okay. The shortest distance between Nogales and Phoenix, 162.68 miles, or 261.80 kilometers.
We drive, por favor.
Okay, here they come back. Oh, better not be showing the witness. Oh, they showed jury. That ain't good, y'all. All right. That's a lot of miles. How long would it take to walk 168 miles?
Right, report. Please be seated. Back on the record. All jurors are present, counsel is present, defendants present.
It would take a while. It wouldn't tell me. It depends on the variables. 56 hours roughly on a good day.
You can continue with your cross-examination.
Mayor.
Oh, no, okay, sorry. I just have a few more questions. We talked about those photos that were shown to you earlier. Are those the only photos that investigators have shown you?
There's liquid in there.
Correct?
Ahora vamos a hablar de las fotos de las que hablamos antes.
Friend of
Esas son
mine
las
took my
únicas
trash out of my
fotos que
room. She's so
investigadores
good.
le enseñaron a usted, ¿correcto? Yes.
Another friend bringing me up.
They didn't ask you
Oh.
to identify anybody else, correct?
Y no le pidieron que identificara a nadie más, ¿verdad? No.
You mentioned that you would have drank some water out of a trough, and I just wanted to ask, was there anything around that trough? Describe the area where the trough was.
Usted dijo hace rato que había tomado agua de un bebedero. Había agua alrededor del bebedero. ¿Me puede describir el área donde estaba el bebedero?
I don't think he thought he was going to be on the stand all day, but he has been.
No, I don't know. I just drank the water and left, and the drinking of the water was before the shots were fired.
That's not what he said.
How far away was that location?
Well, maybe
from
he
the
did say
location
that,
where the
yeah.
shots were fired, approximately?
¿Qué tan lejos o cuál era la distancia aproximadamente del lugar ese al lugar de los disparos? Aproximadamente. I don't know exactly. I don't have the time, and I didn't measure the distance.
How long have you been running or walking away from border patrol before you ran out of this trough?
¿Cuánto tiempo llevaba usted corriendo o caminando, sacándole la vuelta al Border Patrol cuando usted llegó a tomar agua y beber? Not too long. Not too long. I don't know, 10, probably 5 minutes. I didn't keep track of time.
Okay.
Doesn't compute.
Um,
Remember, it's
what color
approximately
was the trough?
17 football fields per mile. It's a mile and a half between the border and the house.
Just aluminum. It was like a threat for animals.
So it was metal?
Yes, aluminum.
Was it standing in a field by itself? Was it in a corral? Was it next to a fence? Was there anything around it like that? Or was it all by itself?
Estaba puesto ahí nomás solo, estaba puesto así en un lugar plano, estaba cerca de un corral, estaba cerca de un cerco, o estaba nomás ahí solo. There was a fence.
What kind of a fence?
¿Qué tipo de cerco? Wire.
A
Wire, barbed wire.
barbed wire fence?
Yeah.
Ignore the
house or
captioning.
building nearby the trough, correct?
No había ninguna casa o algún edificio ahí cerca del bebedero, correcto. I didn't see him.
Okay. Going back to, after the incident takes place, you go back into Mexico. Who is the first person that you told about what happened?
Ahora, vamos otra vez a cuando ya cruzó de regreso a México. Ya está usted de regreso en México. ¿Quién es la primera persona o a quién fue a la primera persona a la que le dijo lo que había pasado?
Fue como la persona, porque yo mamá iba buscar ayuda, la mamá
Well, I don't know the people because I don't know them. All I was looking for is I was looking for help. I was trying to get help to somebody to take me to the hospital.
My question was, who is the first person that you told about what happened?
Mi pregunta es, ¿quién fue a la primera persona a la que usted le dijo lo que había pasado?
He doesn't know my foot.
My answer is the same thing. I don't know who they were. All I wanted was help because I was so afraid. I felt it in my gut.
Are you talking about the people in the vehicle at the wall? Is that who you're saying?
¿Usted se refiere a las personas que estaban ahí en el muro? No, but I didn't talk to those people there, no.
Okay. Where were you when you told?
Were they
someone
traffickers?
the first
Were they
time
friends? Were they
about what
strangers? Give us some
¿Dónde
context.
estaba usted cuando le dijo a alguien por primera vez lo que había pasado? In a dirt road on the Mexican side.
happened? And who did you speak to?
¿Y con quién habló?
Algunas personas que llegan y me sacaron hasta cierta parte de la carretera. Quería agarrar yo otra parada.
The people there that, and they gave me a ride to another place, to another road where I could get a car to go back.
So you were hitchhiking essentially?
Entonces, básicamente, usted está pidiendo, like, I was
Hitchhiking.
asking for help.
I don't understand that.
Did you go to a hospital?
¿Fue usted a un hospital? Yes.
And so you told people at the hospital what happened?
Y entonces usted le dijo a alguien en el hospital lo que había pasado.
Y yo después de la reacción porque el hospital no quisieron atender. Me mandaron como otra persona.
I told the person at the hospital, they didn't want to take me in, they sent me to another person.
Okay. And who did you tell next?
Y entonces, ¿a quién le dijo después?
La persona que me sobó porque era grave lo que yo tenía de la que me había caído la culpa.
The person that was massaging my stomach because I felt so bad because I had been so scared that my guts were all over the place.
And you don't know who that person is?
¿Y usted no sabe quién es esa persona? No.
When was the first time you told somebody who you knew what happened?
¿Cuándo fue la primera vez que usted le dijo a alguien que usted sí conocía qué fue lo que pasó? ¿Cuándo fue la primera vez que usted le dijo a una de las personas que usted sí conoce, a una persona conocida suya? ¿Cuándo fue la primera vez que le dijo lo que había pasado?
Pues no le dio a ninguna persona le había avisado, yo le avisé a la gente que me había dado rayos que no la conocía. Yo les dije que los atacaron a balazos en caballo.
Well, I didn't know. I didn't tell anybody, the people that picked me up, the people that I hiked from, that's who I told them. I told them about the shooting and I just said, the Gabacho did that, the American.
Okay. You eventually spoke with law enforcement in this case, about this case, right?
Finalmente usted habló con agentes policiales sobre este caso, ¿verdad? In Mexico?
I mean, here.
Nowhere. I didn't speak to the police or anybody.
You spoke with investigators in this case from here, correct?
Usted habló con investigadores de este caso, investigadores de aquí, ¿verdad? Yes.
How did that take place? How did that come about?
¿Y cómo se vio eso? ¿Cómo pasó eso? I don't understand how.
How did you come into contact with law enforcement in this case?
¿Cómo fue que usted llegó a tener contacto con agentes del orden público, investigadores, sobre este caso? ¿Cómo se contactaron?
Porque me buscaron.
Because they looked for me.
Who looked for you?
¿Quién lo
La
buscó?
familia de Gabriel.
Gabriel's family.
Gabriel's family looked for you.
¿La familia de Gabriel lo buscó a usted? Yes.
How did they know that you were with Gabriel when this took place? How did they know to look for you?
¿Cómo sabían ellos que ustedes dos, cómo sabía la familia de Gabriel que ustedes dos andaban juntos? ¿Cómo sabían ellos que lo tenían que buscar a usted?
Porque ya habíamos estado, porque estábamos trabajando y ya sabía que nos íbamos a buscar, veníamos a buscar el señor mexicano.
Because we had been working together, they knew we were working and they knew we were coming here looking for the American dream.
You testified earlier that Gabriel did not know that you were going to go meet with the smuggler that day, and that you did not know Gabriel was going to be there. Are you changing that testimony?
Anteriormente usted testificó o dio su testimonio, dijo que Gabriel no sabía que usted se iba a ir a ver con el que iba a contrabandear y que usted no sabía que Gabriel también iba a ir. Está cambiando su historia ahora. I didn't say that.
You didn't say that in court today.
¿No dijo eso hoy aquí en el tribunal? No.
So now you're saying that Gabriel's family knew that you were going to cross with Gabriel on January 30th, 2023. They knew about that.
Entonces lo que usted está diciendo es que la familia de Gabriel sabía que usted iba a cruzar con Gabriel, iban a cruzar la frontera en enero del 2023. La familia sabía
Y íbamos para que íbamos para aquí.
that we were going to Phoenix.
They knew you were going on that day.
Ellos sabían que ese día se iban a ir.
No sabían que el día nos íbamos.
They didn't know what day we were going.
So then how would they know to contact you about what happened?
Entonces, ¿cómo sabía la familia que se tenía que comunicar con usted para saber qué había pasado?
Porque ya fue cuando ya estaba muerto, cuando ya estaba ya estaba Carlos y ya la gente estaba viendo lo que estaba pasando y ya la gente empezó a averiguar.
Because he was dead already and because they started seeing all the experts and things that were going on, and so they started asking.
Who contacted you specifically?
Específicamente, ¿quién se comunicó con usted?
Una persona que se llama Juan Carlos.
A person named Juan Carlos.
Who is that?
¿Quién es esa persona?
Pero no sé.
I'm sorry, I don't know.
So somebody who you don't know contacted you to talk about Gabriel.
Una persona que usted no conoce se comunicó con usted para hablar de Gabriel.
Me buscó en el celular, pero yo estaba a distancia.
He looked for me in my village, but I didn't talk to him because I was ill.
So how did he contact you?
¿Cómo se comunicó con usted?
Por medio de la imagen y la evidencia que fue cuando yo estaba.
By word of mouth with the people from the village, from the people from the village, they started asking.
So my question is, when did you speak with Juan Carlos Rodriguez?
Entonces mi pregunta es, ¿cuándo habló usted con Juan Carlos Rodríguez?
Ellos me buscaron porque
Sorry, I had to step away, but I missed out a lot, I'm sure. Get my ears back on.
They started looking for me because people started talking that I was ill, that I had been attacked, that I had been fired at, and so they knew that it was me, the one that was with him.
And how did you contact him? Did he call you? Did you show up someday to talk to you? How did this person, Juan Carlos, contact you?
Pero ¿cómo se comunicó con usted, esta persona, este Juan Carlos? ¿Cómo se comunicó con usted, este Juan Carlos? ¿Le habló por teléfono? ¿Llegó en persona? ¿Cómo se comunicó con usted? En persona.
ellos fueron a buscar porque la misma gente del pueblo sabe que yo estaba ahí en el pueblo me atendieron.
It was in person, I don't have a phone, and so they came looking for me, and the people in the village, they knew where I was, and then they came to me, they were looking for me.
Okay.
I'll have to go back and watch that. I'm sorry, y'all.
Juan Carlos comes to your house someday, he just shows up and starts to talk to you about this case, is that how this happened?
Entonces un día llegó Juan Carlos a su casa y empezó a hablar con ustedes, y fue como pasaron las cosas. I was still at the house with the lady that was doing the massage on me because I wasn't well yet.
And Juan Carlos came to talk to you at that house?
Y Juan Carlos fue a hablar con usted ahí a casa de esa señora.
Solo lo que le mucho que necesitaban hablar conmigo de ese lado.
He just left a message that they needed to talk to me on this side.
You left a message with who?
Él dejó un mensaje con quién.
Con la señora que estaba ahí.
Bueno.
Estaba sobando porque que para poder reconocer el deseo de Gabriel.
With the lady that was massaging me, because they needed me to come to this side to identify Gabriel's body.
And when you got that message, what did you do?
Y cuando usted recibió ese mensaje, ¿qué hizo?
Pues todavía no estaba yo en
I wasn't all there yet,
So you didn't do anything?
entonces no hizo nada todavía. No.
So then did Juan Carlos arrive another day after leaving this message?
Entonces Juan Carlos llegó otro día después de que le llegó el mensaje.
Ya me había la señora cuando ella dijo que si me podría ahora estar positivo para ver a para verificar el cadáver.
Yes, no, that's the lady told me that they were looking for me to testify to ID the body.
So you learned that someone was looking for someone to testify.
Entonces usted supo que alguien estaba buscando a una persona para que testificara, para que diera su testimonio.
Para que yo supiera dónde iba a estaba tirado.
So that I would see where he was lying, where he was.
Can you clarify that for me? They were looking for you so that you could see where he was lying? What does that mean?
A ver, aclárame esto. Ellos lo estaban buscando a usted para que usted viera dónde él estaba tirado. ¿Qué quiere decir eso?
No, porque yo venía con él, porque yo andaba con él, porque nosotros veníamos para el norte y éramos los únicos que sabían que nosotros estábamos que éramos los dos conocidos, los dos que los conocíamos.
Because they knew that we both together were coming north because we were the only two that knew each other.
Who's they? What do you mean? Who
Juan-
knew that?
¿Quién sabía eso? Cuando dice ellos sabían, ¿quiénes ellos?
Pues no sé quién más.
No, I don't know who else.
You didn't tell Gabriel's family about what happened, right? They came and found you, is that correct?
Usted no le dijo a los parientes de Gabriel lo que había pasado, ¿verdad? Ellos vinieron a usted.
Yo no sabía dónde vivía. No sabía dónde estaban, si vivían porque yo había cambiado de casa. Había conocido.
Because I didn't know where they lived. They had moved from the house that I had met them. And so I didn't know where they lived.
And you didn't have anyone you could ask to try to find out where they were?
Y usted no tenía a quién preguntarle para averiguar dónde estaban ellos. No, because I didn't know anybody else.
And you didn't go to the authorities in Mexico about this at all, did you?
Y usted no fue a hablar con las autoridades en México para nada, ¿verdad? No.
Why not?
¿Por qué no?
Porque no, yo no podía hablar ni podía caminar bien.
Because I wasn't able.
No estaba yo en mis cinco sentidos porque yo estaba mal, porque yo no aguantaba ni podía los nervios y todo eso.
Because I wasn't well. I wasn't in my five senses. I couldn't stop vomiting. My nerves were a wreck.
I can show you what's been marked as Exhibit EE on council table and for the witness.
Le voy a enseñar lo que se marcó como elemento de prueba E.
Can you see what's on your screen?
¿Puede ver lo que está en la pantalla, señor?
Sí.
Yes.
Is that Gabriel?
Ese señor que está ahí es el señor Gabriel?
Sí, pero no traía ese radio.
Yes, but he didn't have that radio.
And does he has a radio, you see a radio with Gabriel?
¿Tiene una radio ahí? ¿Ve que hay una radio ahí con Gabriel? Yes.
And Judge, we just asked to publish. Not yet, it's part of a bigger exhibit, but we laid the foundation for this photograph. There are a number of photographs in the exhibit, and we laid a foundation for other ones, another witness. Then we will ask to admit.
So, she wants to publish before it's admitted. I prefer to have it admitted. I mean,
It's not been offered.
I can do a separate one. So this is it's a duplicate, it's labeled J J. So we moved to admit J J and
That's a duplicate of EE.
yes, it's the same thing. But it's labeled separately. Sorry.
no objection.
This is J J.
Exhibit JJ is exhibit, and you can publish it to the jury.
Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I had to hop away, so I'm kind of trying to catch up. So, I'm going to hop back just a little bit.
Someday he just shows up and starts to talk to you about this.
For me, and the people in the village, they knew where it was, and they came to me. They were looking.
Okay. So Juan Carlos comes to your house someday, he just shows up and starts to talk to you about this case, is that how this happened?
Entonces un día llegó Juan Carlos a su casa y empezó a hablar con ustedes. Fue como pasaron las cosas. I was still at the house with the lady that was doing the massage on me because I wasn't well yet.
And Juan Carlos came to talk to you at that house?
Y Juan Carlos fue a hablar con usted ahí a casa de esa señora.
Solo lo que me dice que necesitaban hablar conmigo de esa.
He just left a message that they needed to talk to me on this side.
You left a message with who?
Él le dio un mensaje con quien.
Con la señora que estaba ahí.
Pues-
Estaba sobando porque quería hablar con ella, que quería reconocer el empleo.
Fue with the lady that was massaging me, because they needed me to come to this side to identify Gabriel's body.
And when you got that message, what did you do?
Y cuando usted recibió ese mensaje, ¿qué hizo?
Pues todavía no estaba viendo
I wasn't all there yet.
So you didn't do anything?
Entonces no hizo nada. No.
So then did Juan Carlos arrive another day after leaving this message?
Entonces Juan Carlos llegó otro día después de que le llegó el mensaje.
y había la señora cuando tenía ustedes
I'll have to go back and watch. I've missed some of this.
Yes, no, that the lady told me that they were looking for me to testify to ID the body.
So you learned that someone was looking for someone to testify.
Entonces usted supo que alguien estaba buscando a una persona para que testificara, para que diera su testimonio. So that I would see where he was lying, where he was.
Can you clarify that for me? They were looking for you so that you could see where he was lying? What's that mean?
A ver, aclárame esto. Ellos lo estaban buscando a usted.
He's getting
para que
exhausted,
viera
and it is
dónde él
exhausting.
estaba tirado. ¿Qué quiere decir eso?
No, porque yo venía porque yo andaba con él, porque nosotros veníamos para el norte y éramos como que nosotros estábamos que éramos los dos conocidos, los dos conocidos.
Because they knew that we both together were coming north because we were the only two that knew each other.
Who's they? What do you mean? Who's
Cuando,
they?
¿quién sabía eso? Cuando dice ellos sabían, ¿quién es ellos? No, I don't know.
They got to know the names, or at least a call name. They may not, the coyote, the whoever, the scouts may not use their full names, but they had something to call them by.
Usted no le dijo a los parientes de Gabriel lo que había pasado, ¿verdad? Ellos vinieron a usted. Because I didn't know where they lived. They had moved from the house that I had met them. And so I didn't know where they lived.
That's normal. They don't stay in one place long. They can avoid it.
Y usted no tenía que preguntarle para averiguar dónde estaban ellos. No, because I didn't know anybody else.
And you didn't inform the authorities in Mexico about this at all, did you?
Y usted no fue a hablar con las autoridades en México para nada, ¿verdad? No.
Why not?
¿Por qué no?
Porque no, yo no podía hablar con nadie.
Because I wasn't able.
No estaba yo yo estaba mal,
Because I wasn't well, I wasn't in my five senses, I couldn't stop vomiting, my nerves were erratic.
I can show you what's been marked as exhibit EE. Council table and
Okay.
witness.
Te voy a enseñar lo que se me fue como cuando me encontró aquí.
Can you see what's on my screen?
¿Puede ver lo que está en la pantalla, señor? Yes.
Is that Gabriel?
Ese señor está ahí, es el señor Gabriel. Yes, but he didn't have that radio.
And does he has a radio, you see a radio with Gabriel?
Tiene una radio por aquí, ve que hay una radio ahí con Gabriel. Yes.
He said he did not have a radio that day, or he did not see a radio that day.
Not yet, it's part of the bigger exhibit, but we laid the foundation for this photograph. There are a number of photographs in the exhibit. lay the foundation for other ones with another witness, then we will ask to admit.
She wants to publish before it's admitted. I prefer to have it admitted. I mean,
I don't know whether to admit a photo.
I can do a separate one. So this is it's a duplicate, it's labeled JJ. So we moved to admit JJ and the sentence is
That's a
JJ.
duplicate.
Yes, it's the same thing. But it's labeled separately. Sorry.
no objection.
That's good. Must be cold in that courtroom that Your Honor's got a sweater and a shirt on. And a robe. Okay, this is a good picture. He did have a hoodie on. There's the backpack. There's the radio. I mean, there's the fanny pack and the radio. She's going to zoom it. There's radio right there. There's the hoodie. There is the fanny pack. Oh, maybe
These clothes look similar
a
to
cell phone
clothes
right
that
there.
you was wearing when you were with him on January 30th.
La ropa que está viendo la moto parece parecida a la moto que estaba, que tenía puesto el día que estaba detenido. No,
He was wearing different clothes.
llevaba ropa de No, yes, but I wasn't with him, I don't know, I wasn't with him there.
You described wearing tan pants when you were with Gabriel, correct?
Ustedes dijeron que cuando usted estuvo con Gabriel, él llevaba
Khaki, he said.
Claro, ¿cierto? Yes.
He's wearing tan pants in this photograph as well, right?
Y esta foto lleva pantalones de color café claro, ¿correcto? Yes.
Are you saying that his shirt is different? He was wearing a different shirt when he was with you?
The studies you put into Starbucks? Captioning. I know it's Spanish, but really. Don't hate on Starbucks.
Tell me about his shirt when he was with you.
Well, I don't remember very well, but it wasn't like that.
What about the hat? Do you remember if he was wearing that hat when he was with you?
Y el sombrero, ¿se acuerdan si tenían la cachucha un sombrero como lo que lleva en la foto? No.
He did not have that hat when he was with you?
Cuando él estaba con ustedes no llevaba ese sombrero, esa cachucha, no.
And when
That's
he was with
interesting.
you, he did not have the radio?
Y cuando él estaba con ustedes no llevaba radio. No.
Only
When he was with
the
you, he
scouts
did not have
and the coyote usually have radios. I don't know why I'm doing this.
No.
I don't need to.
You don't remember if he did or didn't have a fanny pack with him when he was with you?
The fanny pack was found laying next to the body.
No.
And you don't know what he's doing in this picture, correct?
That's interesting. No fanny pack with him when he was with him, but yet when they found the body, there was a fanny pack.
I don't have any other questions.
Yay! Prosecution, defense rest, cross redirect. Oh, poor soul. He's been on the stand all day. Doesn't matter whether I like him or not. That's a tough duty. Done it myself. Thank you for coming to the mic.
We're going to start with the photo, Daniel.
Oh, I can hear him.
Exhibit JJ. You see that on your screen still?
Football Club Tuesday was beautiful.
Do you have any idea when that photo was taken?
No.
He needs to say nada.
Day before,
No.
week
Yes,
before,
see.
a month before, correct? You don't know.
Must be in the fall or winter. He's bundled up.
Could happen, yes.
Puede que se tomó por una semana, un mes, un día antes. No sabe.
Don't hate on the monkeys either, captioning. Captioning's not doing well when they speak in Spanish. It's comical.
All right, Dan, I'm gonna go back to almost the beginning.
Here we go again, another 4 hours.
This environment is new to you, right? This courtroom is new to you.
You've said that 4 times or more.
Casi al principio. Este ambiente de una sala de tribunal es nuevo para ustedes, ¿verdad? Gracias.
And then we have a jury, we have a TV camera, we have people in the audience all looking at you.
O sea, hay un jurado, hay una cámara de televisión.
That doesn't indicate the fact that he needs to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. So help you God.
Yes.
We're asking you questions. Would it be fair to say a traumatic event in your life?
Estamos preguntando
Traumatic events, being shot.
sobre
His friend.
evento traumático, si se puede decir, en la vida de usted.
Uncomfortable, yes.
Gracias.
You testified earlier on cross-examination.
Usted testificó antes en contra del laboratorio que
That you heard the gunshots,
usted escuchó los disparos. Yes.
and it sounded to you like an AK-47.
Y que
How would he
los
know?
disparos sonaban como disparos de una AK-47. Yes.
Explain to the jury why an AK-47 is familiar to you, the sound.
Explíquele al jurado por qué es que usted conoce el sonido de una AK-47.
I would know the difference between an AR and an AK, and I have one of the above.
Well, because I've heard my Christmas and also, with all the fighting going on at the border, you hear them often.
Because it's a popular weapon used. However,
Do you remember on cross-examination being asked about legal and illegal entry into the United States? Do you remember those questions?
¿Usted se acuerda cuando le estaban diciendo contra el laboratorio que le hicieron preguntas sobre entrada legal a los Estados Unidos? ¿Usted se
Sí.
acuerda? Yes.
Do you remember the question and answer relating to being deported if you went through what we call port of entry through the legal process in the U.S.?
¿Usted se acuerda de la pregunta y luego la respuesta sobre ser deportado si es que usted entrara por el puerto legal de los Estados Unidos? Puerto de entrada, o sea, proceso legal en Estados Unidos. Yes.
What deportation were you referring to?
Cuando usted mencionó deportación, ¿a qué se estaba refiriendo? I don't understand.
which
What
one?
country are you from?
There's 10 deportations in the U.S. alone.
I'm from Honduras.
Do you have legal status in the country of Mexico?
Tiene una situación legal en México.
Get yourself in trouble.
Were you concerned that
Nope.
if you were found out that you'd be deported from Mexico back to Honduras?
Estaba preocupado.
So you're breaking the laws in Mexico and you're breaking the laws in the U.S. I don't hold your testimony with much weight.
De México a Honduras.
You'll be deported now
¿Y la respuesta, señor?
unless the U.S. takes you. You seek asylum.
So it's a scary thing to be here testifying with the possibility that you may be deported back to Honduras upon return to Mexico. Are you concerned about testifying here
preocupados, sobre.
He's testifying. I wonder if they promised him anything.
Do you remember the questions on cross-examination about your prior conviction?
¿Usted se acuerda de las preguntas en el plan de contrainterrogatorio que tenían que ver con sus condenas anteriores? Don't remember.
Where you brought in marijuana,
He says that a lot.
convicted in the United States for transportation of marijuana?
Oh, he's thinking.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
Sure, it's been a long day.
He's getting tired. I get it.
Do you remember the conviction you received for the importation of marijuana? I think you said roughly 2014.
10 years ago.
Yes.
And the name you used, the name under the conviction, do you remember the name?
He's trying to save his witness. I'm not sure that's
What
possible.
was the name, Daniel, that Ruiz, okay. Have you ever heard that fact, that you used that name?
Have you ever lied about that? I don't know if he understands that kind of question. It's not a normal way of saying it.
No, hiding it, no. Ramirez is the only thing. Ruiz is not my last name.
That name, Ruiz, comes from a Mexican ID that you received in Mexico.
Purchased. Oh, I want to stop so bad.
And you're not disputing that the conviction in 2014.
I gotta say this. I gotta say this. I gotta say this. He is an illegal immigrant in Mexico. He is an Honduras national. He is illegally in Mexico. He is worried about Mexico deporting him. So he's going to purchase a fake ID in Mexico. The government is not going to give him an ID and just go, I think I'm going to give you the last name of Rodriguez. When your last name is, love it. It ain't going to happen. They're dancing around it. If I was prosecution, I'd say, how much did you pay for that ID, or how did you get that ID? Because if you're not a Mexican national, you're not going to get an ID. I sure hope I'm not the only one thinking this way. So he's breaking the laws in Mexico. He's breaking the laws in the United States.
Was you, are you?
Oy vey.
Matter of fact, the 8 or 9 times you were deported from the United States, what name do they attribute to you?
The illegal documentation he purchased in Mexico. Amado Ramirez. Yep.
And you've never disputed the fact that that was you.
It's an assumed name he got in Mexico.
Let me ask you about, there were some questions on cross-examination about payment, about coming into the United States.
Sorry for the captioning, guys. That's bad.
You testified that you paid, I think on cross-examination, you paid each and every time.
Oh, no, except for when he was carrying drugs into the United States in exchange for his entry.
Is that true?
Yes, I paid it.
Nope. You
We
just
want
lied.
to make sure we understand the payment.
You did not pay when you were carrying drugs as a mule into the United States. And I know I'm looking off over here because I'm looking at him. You did not pay. You are not being truthful. I'm getting aggravated. Why don't we do it?
Defense counsel asked you, and they used the number, I think, 10 times. That you crossed 10 times and you paid 10 times. Do you remember that?
He's trying to clean up the mess.
And of those 8 or 10 times, did you pay cash every single time?
No. Me carried drugs twice, well, once at least, he got caught. I'm so struggling.
Not every single time, because they got me, if I was caught, the interpreter is gonna ask for a repetition. Si le agarraban, ¿me puede repetir, hermano?
Asking for clarification. Translator, you're not
Because if I was
interpreter.
caught, then we were gonna go back and repeat the same thing.
Not every time.
We're going to use the word, you got a credit. That'd be,
He testified earlier, only twice did he get credit.
Yes.
So you've
to
only
you,
paid.
You paid every single time.
Así que para según usted pagó cada vez.
Is that right?
You're tripping your own witness up. Quit while you're ahead. He didn't want to answer this.
Yes. I feel confident.
Okay, guys. He testified earlier that he got in the United States 10 times, got caught 10 times. He testified earlier that 2 times he got credit because he was caught. Probably a different coyote. Then he testified that 1 time he got caught carrying drugs, and that drugs was in lieu of payment to come into the United States. He was a mule. And now he's saying he paid every time. I think the prosecution is making this worse. If I was on the jury, I'd be going, nah.
Take a moment.
Yes.
I think he's tired. Don't blame the
Daniel,
dude.
you need to go to the bathroom.
Yes.
He needs a break because he's getting overwhelmed. He's getting very anxious. Uh-oh. Hopefully he's not. Please do not pass out. We don't need you to pass out. No thudding. This is a hard, long day, y'all. No matter who you are. A long, hard day. However, they're going to wait till he's out of the room to talk.
At the courtroom to go to the restroom. Right beside what to do next. Did you all talk among yourselves about the start time that we talked about yesterday? She had a smoke person. Might be by 8:30. All right, that sounds good.
Tomorrow at 8:30, 9:30, 10:30 your time. Yay!
Council, what?
I hope they will finish with this guy before they, they're going to turn on that stuff. I got to turn it down. I really hope that they will just finish with this guy. It's 4 o'clock their time, 4:03, 6:03 our time. My thing is I want them to finish with this guy. He's being caught and he knows it. And the things he's saying on the stand can get him in trouble with cartel or coyotes or whatever. He is at risk. And that was something they talked about earlier today, was how to protect him. But that's nothing, He goes back to Mexico when he leaves. He'll be escorted back to Mexico. So Good luck to you, dude. But I have a suspicion that he is either the coyote or a scout. I believe so far that there's a lot of questions in his testimony, a lot of conflicting information in his testimony. I'm going to call it a wash. I'm not for the defense. I'm not for the prosecution. But what I like to do is plug holes where I see it. If it's the defense up there and this was their witness, I'd be plugging holes in it too. So we're going to see what happens. They're still in statics. Wait.
We're gonna see how quickly the gentleman can return and what his condition is when he returns. We'd like to try to finish this witness today. If we're looking to get out of his way.
Yes, please finish him
If not,
today.
we'll continue the other way. Anyone need to get up and stretch? You're welcome to do it. Wanna jump on this? So the prosecutor thinks he's got about 30 minutes of redirect questioning. And if that's the case, we'll be able to wrap this witness up, assuming he's able to go forward. See what's here.
Hello, everybody. I'm back, and look what my beloved friend brought me. God love you. She brought me yum. I've been yawning. I need it. I need it.
Let me talk to him. Okay, good afternoon, sir.
Buenas tardes, señor.
Thank you for letting us know you were not feeling well.
Gracias por decirnos que no se siente bien.
It's just the gruel and anxiety.
Ahora en este momento.
We don't know if he has a medical condition.
The thing is that when you're today investigating, I'm remembering what happened and
Well, the prosecutor, this gentleman here, thinks he has about 30 minutes for questioning. And then it would be done as a witness. You can either go forward today, finish it up today, if you feel well. If you
No,
really
I
don't
want to
feel
stay
well,
tonight so I can stay in the hotel and get food and eat good. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be mean. That was really bad. Y'all forgive me.
articulate an answer.
It's been a long day.
And we will recess for the day. Come back tomorrow, and you finish up that testimony tomorrow.
Get it done today and go home.
Maybe up to you.
Maybe not.
Tell us, only you know how you feel.
ustedes también. Let's go on.
I'm not trying to be mean. I know he comes from probably not a good situation. But the choices he's made have not been good either.
Mr. Ramirez. Daniel, do you remember the questions asked by defense counsel about roads and the wash and seeing a road and seeing houses? Do you remember those questions on cross-examination?
También se acuerdan que la otra defensora le hizo unas preguntas sobre caminos, el arroyo, si usted vio unos caminos, si usted vio unas casas. ¿Usted se acuerda de esas preguntas durante el contrainterrogatorio? Yes.
Do you remember counsel asking you a specific question from a transcript you had with Detective Ramirez in February? Let me write through this.
¿Y usted se acuerda que la licenciada le hizo unas preguntas específicas sobre la entrevista o una transcripción de una entrevista que usted tuvo con el señor
Don't get sick on this, Dan. You're looking a little green, dude.
Ramírez, no, I mean, Mr. Rodríguez, el señor Rodríguez, en el mes de febrero del año 2023? Yes.
Those questions are centered around timing and what you saw when you saw it.
Esas preguntas tenían que ver con el plazo de tiempo, cuándo es que usted vio ciertas cosas, ¿cierto?
Specifically,
That I saw, like,
well, I'll ask the question.
yo voy a hacer la pregunta.
Is Rodriguez's interview, see exhibit 17.
I shall be.
I have a 17 label here. Just for us. Just for us. Oh, this one will come up to you, right? That's on me.
You want to see what she has on her computer?
I was just gonna follow along, that's fine, I've got the transcript, that's fine. 51's on your screen, right, Daniel? Page 51?
Puede ver página 51 en la pantalla de usted, señor. Yes.
You see the question and answers starts off, I believe, around line 13 and goes down to about line 21. Do you see those questions
Usted
and
ve que
answers?
hay unas preguntas y luego respuestas empezando en el renglón 13 y luego hay que bajar hasta como 21. Usted ve esas diferentes preguntas y respuestas. Yes.
And you remember testifying on cross-examination about that, correct?
Y usted se acuerda que usted dio testimonio durante el contrainterrogatorio sobre eso, ¿correcto? Yes.
I'm gonna go back to page 49 to give this some context. Can you pull up page 49?
Quiero regresar a la página 49 para dar algo de contexto sobre esto.
Starting around line 13, I want you to read line 13, and I want you to look up when you're done reading through the end of that page.
Quiero, empezando más o menos en el renglón 13, quiero que usted lea, empezando en el renglón 13 hasta el final de la página, y cuando usted termine de leer, quiero que me vean. From 13 to where?
To the end of the page.
Empezando en el renglón 13 hasta el final de la página.
And I'm gonna ask you to read the next page, page 50, and look up when you're done. Done?
Yes.
A little bit more reading, now to page 51. I want you to read down to line 21.
I can give you
My puppers. I gotta love all my puppers. She's my service dog. She smells Starbucks whipped cream.
So that question on page, referring to page 51, that question on line 16, that question on line 16,
Entonces, la pregunta de separado del renglón 16 en la página 51,
asking you about trees and fences and buildings,
preguntándote sobre cercas, edificios y árboles,
asking if you saw any.
preguntándote
There's trees, fences
Your
everywhere.
answer, line 20 was what?
y la respuesta que usted dio en el renglón que fue la respuesta que usted dio.
Gotta get a picture of this, y'all.
Are they referring to the shooting, page 49 through 51, or are they referring to when you're in the wash running away?
Y o sea, durante las páginas 49 a 51 se están refiriendo al tiroteo en sí o cuando usted está en el arroyo huyéndose.
Cuando llegué a cuando el tiroteo hubo que aprender
Sorry,
It
y'all.
was after the
Pepper's
with
too
the shooting, what I did was I went to hide myself in the wash.
We'll talk about, you remember the questions about the horse?
Ahora quiero hablar sobre el caballo. ¿Se acuerda de las preguntas que tenían que ver con el caballo?
Council, I know this has not been, this exhibit's not been admitted. That's what I'm saying. No one's offered it, it hasn't been admitted.
I'll show y'all. Look
I'm
at
aware
my
of the
puppers.
Show anything to a witness, to try to get them to refresh their recollection. They're just trying to refresh their recollection.
My
So,
puppers.
if I had a pen and I was trying to help you remember the name of a doctor and the doctor had given you the pen, I could show you the pen. Say, doesn't make anything to do with anything, it's just a pen, but does that refresh your recollection? The council, I mean, for all practical purposes, the few pages that have been involved here, cross-examination, redirect, after we read it word for word anyway. So, if there's an objection, we won't do it, but why don't we just admit those pages at least? Whatever happens to the rest of the exhibit, show it to the jury.
On my way.
I've got no objection to pages 49 to 51.
I don't object on Thursday, Your Honor.
Pages 49 and 51.
Yeah, the objection is hearsay.
All right, then it won't be written.
All right, Danny, do you remember the questions on cross-examination about the horse?
También, ¿usted se acuerda de las preguntas durante el contrainterrogatorio que tenían que ver con el caballo? Yes.
And you had a good look at that horse on the day of the shooting, right?
Y el día de los disparos usted pudo ver bien el caballo, ¿verdad?
Sí.
Yes.
What color was the horse?
¿De qué color era el caballo? Red.
And then, was there any markings on the horse?
Y el caballo tenía algunas marcas. White in its forehead. On its forehead.
And I'm going to show you what's been marked as Government Exhibit 120A and 120B, not to publish.
Le voy a enseñar unas fotos, lo que son los elementos de prueba 120A y
I'm
120B.
gonna object to the witness seeing that photograph at this time. It's, again, an unduly suggestive identification
Of?
of the horse.
see that picture on the screen, Daniel?
¿Alcanza a ver esa foto ahí en la pantalla? Yes.
That's Government Exhibit 120A.
Ese es el evento de cargo 120A.
I'm going to show you Government Exhibit 120B.
Y le voy a mostrar ahora el elemento de cargo 120B.
There's both Government Exhibit 120A and B, fair and accurate representations of the horse you saw on January 30th.
Los elementos de prueba A, 120A y 120B son una representación justa y fiel del caballo que usted vio.
Hold on a second. What was the?
Un momentito.
It's leaving, Your Honor.
Overlook. It's foundation. Transfer.
What was your answer, Daniel?
¿Cuál fue su respuesta?
Sí,
Yes, that was the horse.
Your Honor, move to admit Government Exhibit 120A and B into evidence.
Any objections other than those already made?
Just the same objections, Your Honor.
All right. What are they in? 122?
120A and 120B.
I'm sorry, 120A and 120B are admitted and they can be published.
120A, right, Daniel? That's the picture of the horse you saw?
Esa es la 120A, ¿verdad? Daniel, es la foto del caballo que ahorita vio. Yes.
Show you 120B,
Esa es la foto 120B.
that picture of the same horse.
Es una foto del mismo caballo. Yes.
You remember the examination questions asking you about whether or not the horse was shot and killed?
¿Usted se acuerda en el interrogatorio anterior las preguntas que le hicieron sobre que si el caballo le habían disparado o lo habían matado? Yes.
On your screen, it should be not the publication. On your screen should be a transcript of one of the interviews you did that defense counsel asked you about. Do you see that on your screen?
Aquí en la pantalla usted puede ver una transcripción sobre la entrevista de la que estaba hablando la abogada. ¿Con usted ve la transcripción ahí? Yes.
For the record, it's Government Exhibit 19.
Es el elemento de carga 19.
And do you see the question and answer starting on line 19?
Usted ve ahí las preguntas y respuestas empezando en el renglón 19.
Actually, on 18.
Bueno, en el 18.
And I'm going to read the question to you. And the horse, do you know what happened to it?
Le voy a leer la pregunta. Dice, ¿y el caballo? ¿Usted sabe qué pasó con él?
You see your response?
Y alcanza a ver ahí su respuesta. Yes.
Your response is, well, the horse, well, it dropped right there. I'm saying it dropped right there too, because since he kept on shooting.
Su respuesta dice, pues el caballo, pues ahí cayó el caballo. Yo digo que ahí cayó también, porque como ahí siguió disparando. Yes.
And the officer responds, okay, and?
Y el agente dijo, ok, y?
And your response is, the horse was dead, comma, I think. It must be dead right there too.
Y su respuesta fue, el caballo, creo que estaba muerto. Allá de estar muerto también. I believe, I thought.
And on page 9,
En la siguiente página, en la página 9,
actually, I'm going to go on page 8. Sorry, last question on page 8.
la,
Officer,
la última pregunta en la página 8,
officer asks you, but you don't know if. You see that question or comment?
Dice, pero usted no sabe si es que, ¿verdad? De ese comentario ahí.
And it goes on to the next page, if the horse is dead.
Pero luego sigue en la próxima página.
And the officer asked, was it able to gallop off or? You see that?
Y la pregunta dice, ¿y pudo salir galopeando o
And your,
alcanza a ver eso?
and your response was, it ran, limping, hobbling, but the horse, he did shoot it, he must have shot it too, because I saw the horse rear up backwards and then forwards.
Y su respuesta fue,
I don't know how much this is
corrió,
helping his case.
me manqueaba, estaba
Sometimes
como
it's best to leave
manqueando,
things alone. To
pero
not,
el caballo, yo estoy segura que sí le dio, le debe de haber pegado también, porque el caballo, yo vi cuando relinchó para atrás y luego para enfrente.
sometimes drawing attention to some of this is worse than just leaving it alone. Because
Was
you're
that
leaving the
event
last part for the
chaotic,
judges, the jury.
the shooting?
En ese momento de los disparos fue un momento muy caótico. Ya.
You're seeing a lot of things happening around you, right?
Y usted está viendo que hay muchas cosas que están pasando a su alrededor, ¿verdad? Ya.
And the horse, is the horse between you and where the shots are coming from?
Y el caballo está
Like I said.
entre usted y de donde vienen los disparos. Ya.
But the horse was not shot. It was startled,
Because
but
you
not
just saw
shot.
Gabriel die,
Gabriel wasn't dead yet.
you don't know what happened to that horse.
Y como
You don't know what happened to that horse.
Sustained question, sustained.
Objection.
Just asking yes or no.
What? The judge.
You don't know what happened to the horse?
What's not obvious is what happened to the horse.
Yeah, what happened to the horse, if you know?
si usted sabe qué fue lo que le pasó al caballo.
It's the way that it says. It's leading.
I didn't know because right next to the horse, that's where Gabriel fell.
The horse was that close? That didn't make sense.
Really, discussion, questions about direction on cross-examination?
¿Se acuerdan las preguntas y la discusión que hubo en el interrogatorio sobre dirección? Yes.
North, south, east, and west?
Cuando hablaron de norte, sur, este y oeste. Yes.
I just want to make sure we're crystal clear. When the shots are being fired, which direction are you going?
Which way are you walking when the shots are fired?
Claro como el agua. Cuando empiezan los disparos, ¿en qué dirección iba usted? Towards south.
Going back towards the border?
South.
And what do you see south? As you're going south, what do you see in the distance?
Y cuando usted va en dirección al sur, ¿qué es lo que alcanza a ver a lo lejos? The wall.
You're referring to the border wall.
Why?
Y el muro se refiere
Just paid $2,500 to cross that wall. Why are you
Yes.
going back?
And as you're going south, and the shots happen, I want to use your right and left. As you're going south, which direction are the shots coming at you from?
He said
Right,
right.
right, or left?
Ahora, cuando estaba corriendo al sur,
Objection asked and answered.
If he was going south, they'd be behind him. Sort of. The house is behind him. The shots, that would be west.
y oye los disparos.
He's going
¿Qué es lo que
south.
dice
The
sus
house
manos
is more
y que diga?
northish.
Cuando estaba corriendo al sur, oye los disparos. ¿De qué lado venían los disparos? ¿De la derecha o de la izquierda? De la derecha. From the right.
I'll show you a picture what I mean in a minute.
Remember the questions about distance?
Oh, he screwed that up royally. I want to see how they recover it.
What a meter was, right?
But also I didn't have the time to take measurements.
I'm not gonna ask you about measurements.
No le voy a preguntar sobre medidas, no se preocupe.
In your estimate, Daniel, and we haven't talked about this, in your estimate, what's the distance from where you're sitting to the end of the courtroom here? What's the distance in meters?
So 50 meters is approximately 54.68 yards.
Que son de ahí de donde está usted sentado a donde se termina la sala de audiencia. En metros, ¿cuánto cree?
Just shy of 3 feet. Close.
About 10 meters.
That's 10 meters?
That's 30 feet plus.
Okay. And then from the moment where you heard the shots to the wall, how far are you saying that is?
Ahora, del momento en el que usted escuchó los disparos al muro, ¿qué tan lejos dice usted que es? Like through football fields, that's what I figured, I don't know.
Daniel, do you play football, soccer? Do you play?
Daniel, ¿usted juega fútbol soccer? Yes.
And you run that football field,
¿Y usted ha corrido un campo de fútbol? Yes.
unless you're the goalie,
Ahora no sé qué sea el portero,
right?
¿verdad?
Only takes an athlete about
So imagine
10 to
running
15 seconds to
full
run a
length of
football field.
field and back. Can you imagine that for me?
Ahora imagínense correr de un extremo del campo al otro y luego de regreso, imagínense eso.
You can imagine that, Daniel?
¿Se lo puede imaginar? ¿Verdad?
So a mile is 17-ish football fields. The house is about a mile and a half, depending on which direction. If you go straight and turn to get to.
Well, it's tiring, but one when it's tired and afraid is just going runs really fast.
That's right. When you're
I
afraid,
just-
you
my-
run
My
faster.
question was, can you imagine doing one distance on the football field and then running back? You can imagine that.
Está bien, pero la pregunta es nomás, ¿usted se imagina correr de un extremo del campo al otro y luego de regreso? ¿Se lo imagina? Yes.
Is that the distance from where the shots happened to the wall?
Esa es la distancia de donde fueron los disparos hasta el muro. No, it was more.
How much more?
You have a hard time with distance and understanding measurements?
He shouldn't. He's a contractor and he's a masonry.
Con entender las distancias y las unidades de medida. Yes.
Okay, I
Remember
call
the
bull on
questions on
that.
cross-examination about clothing?
I call bull on that.
Las preguntas que le hicieron en los interrogatorios.
Okay, guys, I call bull on that. Bull. If you are a masonry, you work as a rock layer, you work in construction. What does that mean? You got to know math, dude. I call BS. Nice try, prosecution.
Yes.
Remind me again, what do you do when you get into the United
Well,
States?
when
What work do you
people-
do? Construction and mason. I'm sorry, y'all. That just really irked me. He's playing dumb. He does construction and masonry. He knows exactly how far a football field is. When I Googled how far a mile was, with how many football fields can you fit in a mile? It's just over 17.6 football fields in a mile. And the house, if you go straight to the border, was a little over a mile. If you go straight down and hook it to the end of the wall where the wall stopped, that was a mile and a half. So if you go straight, you're looking at a minimum of 18 football fields, possibly up to 25, 26 football fields to get to the border. There is no way. He keeps saying from the shots happened was 2 football field lengths away. I don't believe his story. You can't do that kind of math.
Daniel, thank you very much.
It's done. Hallelujah.
Your Honor, I have a suggestion from the government is we have one witness, the next witness this afternoon will clarify the issue. I think there's some terminology used with Agent Marcel, check point and port of entry.
Oh, you're just trying to clean up your hot mess. You just impeached your own witness.
So we have a witness who will be coming up to explain that.
It sounds like whoever this question knows what the difference is.
And
That's why I'm not
Thank
sure.
you, Your Honor.
I'm kind of thinking maybe the question has something to do with what's the legal significance of explaining what happens to you. I'm not really sure. This law question.
I mean, if you just take what is being asked, they ask for clarification with the difference in definition. So I think we should, as suggested by the state, to get those 2 things clarified, what's the difference, and then see if another question comes from that. That would be my recommendation to the board.
I really like her.
Yeah,
I like that
sounds-
suit.
You can clarify it, but it sounds like the person knows what it is. You might ask the juror to clarify their question. So, all right, we'll just deal with it.
Jury question. Woo-hoo.
Then, my judicial assistant communicated to me, the state would have a request regarding testimony of DRR. What is DRR? Is that right?
Yes.
So, is DRR going to testify?
Daniel Ramirez is going to be testifying first this morning. And the issue the state wants to address with the court is his image being uploaded for mass consumption.
Dude, you're on live.
He is a
Too late to argue
Why I'm
this.
hearing A minute before this guy's going to testify.
No, we're just concerned about his
I don't know
image.
why you're raising it now. I'm ready to bring the jury to 6:35.
Public court.
We're just bringing a concern about his image being broadcast. We just want to address the court. And so if the court isn't granted.
His image has been broadcasted since 11 o'clock Central Texas time. It is now 6:37 Central Texas time. Good luck with that. It's already all over the internet. Can't put the crap back in the horse. You break the law in Mexico, they send you back to Honduras where you were supposed to be. You're a Honduran national.
Victim of a high profile case. He travels back and forth with port of entry, where his identity will be now known both on the side and also on the Mexican side. So we're just
Should have thought about
concerned
that before you put him on the
broadcasting
stand.
To the world. And so that's what our concern is for his security. So we're bringing it up because he's concerned about it. So we want to make sure the court, we address
You
that
brought it up
before
this morning. He ruled on it. Nope.
Is it defense anyways?
Judge, we believe these proceedings should be public. We're all here, it's obviously a high profile case. There is no specific.
Not that high profile.
Security concern, other than this is an alleged victim in a high profile case. Frankly, I don't see what the danger is. Nobody knows where this person lives.
True.
Nobody knows when he's coming across. The only time he
No.
comes across and comes to court, he's escorted by law enforcement. So I don't see any safety concern.
He's being
And
babied.
we object to any part of these proceedings being closed to the public. And I think not allowing people to see this witness is essentially closing this to the public.
This is the kind of thing that I have to look at and consider.
He did that this morning.
And bring it up the minute before the gentleman's supposed to testify, because I'm allowed to do that. I understand the concerns for his safety.
Why did it go back to the beginning? My bad, y'all. My bad. I don't know why it went back to the beginning. My bad. That was earlier this morning. Forgive me, y'all. The judge ruled against it. He is sitting here in front of us. I am so sorry. I was wondering why we were going over this again. Let me kind of fast forward through all this squawking. Let's see what the... Okay, jury question.
Right, or to over the victim's body.
Okay, let's get back to the...
Cuando
Okay,
crossings, those are usually earlier because of the sun and all the.
jury question. I apologize, y'all. Forgive me. Okay, let me see if I can pop this up a little bit, 5 seconds at a time. Pop, 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 pop.
So,
There we go.
back on the record.
I'm still learning.
So, sir, we have a couple of questions from the jurors.
Not from the church, jurors.
In your testimony, you originally stated that it was getting late when you crossed. But then you stated that you crossed at 12 o'clock. So which statement is accurate and what time was it when you crossed? I guess this is referring to crossing into the United States. Is that correct?
Muy bien. Al principio de su testimonio, usted dijo que ya se les estaba haciendo tarde para cruzar, esto es para cruzar a los Estados Unidos. Pero luego dijo que cruzaron como a las 12. Entonces, ¿cómo que se les había hecho tarde? ¿Se les hizo tarde o cruzaron a las 12?
Cruzamos a las 12 porque se le estaba haciendo tarde porque para caminar ya era por el sol todo.
It was getting late. We crossed at noon at 12, and it was getting late because the crossings, those are usually earlier because of the sun and all the walking.
Another question. When Gabriel got shot, what time was it? During the day when Gabriel said, I'm hit.
¿Qué hora era? Cuando le dispararon a Gabriel, cuando Gabriel le dijo, me dieron. ¿Qué hora era?
He's not going to have an exact
I
time.
don't know the time exactly, but it was about 2:30 or 3 because the sun was already to the side.
There's a question by one of the jurors about the date of what was the date of the last photo provided by the defendant's technology should locate this. And there's the reference, I think, I'm sure, the photo that was identified as being the victim Gabriel in his clothing. That date, I'm told by the lawyers, will be provided foundation for that information about the date of that photo, when it was taken, any other information on it, will be provided by another witness. Let's wait for that. All right, then the witness stated earlier today that during his testimony that he jumped over the victim's body when he started to run.
Oh, man. They did it again. They did it again. Oh, this stinks. Let me do this and see if...
And one person with a bullet hole in him.
The witness stated earlier today that during his testimony that he jumped over the victim's body when he started to run.
Yeah.
Was he wearing carpet booties? Can he tell us if the victim's head
Oh.
was to the right or to the left, or head at his feet. Victim face up, yes or no? I'd like to have witness clarifiers.
Muy bien.
You're just.
Durante su interrogatorio,
I don't know if y'all can hear this. Let me pause this. I'm going to try and find another feed. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is huge. So let me, I don't know why my feed ends at the end and other people's does not. I don't understand it. I don't know why I got cut off again. Oh my Lord. And now I can't find it. Let me see. Video unavailable. So I'm going to do
Witness.
this.
He's an adult male.
I will find out and tell y'all tomorrow what the answer to that
Available.
question was because I cannot find it. Holy, but it's a good one. Okay, guys. So what we'll do is we'll leave it there. Tomorrow morning, I will tell you what that question was. It was a big deal. I don't know why they end it like that on my feeds. Everybody else's is still up and running, but I can't put them up on screen. So with that, I bid you farewell. I will see you tomorrow at 10:30 my time.